My name is Nathan Mott. I'm a multi-season challenger and jungle coach. This is my Challenger versus Emerald series where we bring on a guest and expert in a champion, compare their game to an Emerald game. Today's champion is Aatrox, and Looca will be joining me as our guest. He recently peaked 1400 LP on the European West Ladder, which is about rank 23, and he's also a coach in our Top Lane Academy program. Let's get straight into it. All right, so Looca, let's start off with Aatrox build. Runes, items, skill order, all that. Before we get into that, Looca, we're going to be sort of seeing here a bit of a red carpet, in a way, of Aatrox losses. Your 1400 LP you sort of dropped to 670. We were talking a bit before here, you find Aatrox is maybe not in the best state for the highest ranks, but we wanted to sort of still make this video because Aatrox is going to be getting buffs in the next... by the time this basically comes out, this video. So do you want to first talk why you think he's sort of a little bit in the weaker stages right now, Aatrox? Because you mentioned that there's no one-trick Aatrox in Challenger right now, worldwide.
Yeah, I think first of all, like his matchups are just very terrible at the moment. Every champ that counters him is just very high, like S tier in the meta, such as like Ambessa. I think like Aurelia's pretty good as well. Fiora, Jace is really strong. Most of the matchup you play against are going to be kind of hard, and also I just think his damage numbers just aren't that good right now. You just don't feel that strong. So I think that's like the main reasons he's not that strong. I mean that's it.
What do you think the buffs are going to do? Do you reckon the buffs are going to help this that are coming?
Yeah, I think your good matchups will be even better. You can snowball harder, and then your bad matchups you can kind of salvage them a bit more. The thing is, Aatrox is like a weird champion because he's more like I kind of see him as like a neutralizer, because his strength is that he's really like stable in most matchups, but after laning phase you don't really have a win condition besides just team fighting, right? Like you don't split push, like most matches you don't win on side unless you have a lead. So I think you need like a lead to be able to be strong, and if you're not going to get a lead in lane because your champ just doesn't deal damage, then it's kind of hopeless, so yeah.
All right, so let's talk about builds. So is there a cookie cutter items that you go, or you sort of switch it up by matchup? Like which one of these games here do you think is like a really stock standard build that people can pick up with Aatrox?
I mean all of the games, honestly, because the thing is you have three options usually when you buy your first item. You either go Shojin, Voltaic, or Thunder Sky, and you kind of need to know which one to build first because it's really important. Because whether you team fight or fight on side lane more, it kind of dictates what build you go. So usually, like this is a rule of thumb, right? If you play against like a range champion, Voltaic is really good because the auto attack's slow, right, and you can kind of run them down. So if you go against a range champion, that's good. But then between Thunder Sky and Spear of Shojin, it's a pretty hard choice. Spear of Shojin generally is against more like tanky comps where when you're fighting or side laning a lot, you have to use multiple Q rotations, right? Because this item gives you a lot of ability haste and more power on your Qs. So if you play against like a comp that has a lot of HP and the fights are going to be longer, then this item is very good. Or if you're playing against a Sion, such as you will see in the VOD there, well, if you're on side lane and you have Spear of Shojin, you're gonna get like 3 Q rotations on the guy and have like max value, right? But like in shorter fights, I'd go the other options, which is Thunder Sky.
So looking
So
at this game here, there's an example of like you're against a Shen, so you're rushing
yeah,
Sojin first because you get a lot of auto attacks on it, and then you go the
yeah,
Voltanic. And then what will your
yeah.
third item be in this build, for example, against this comp?
It would either be the Serpent's Fang item, which like, if you look at enemy team comp, they have a lot of
Shields,
shield.
Ivan, yep, Renata, Shen.
Yeah, yeah. Or it would be the Soreldas. I think Soreldas is like the strongest 3-item spike for Aatrox by far. But of course, there's so much Serpent's Fang value that you might go that first. But I think once you have Soreldas third item, you're really, really strong in the game. That's like your hardest spike.
So let's talk about this build here then.
Mhm.
Do we always rush tier 2 boots first? Or is that matchup
No,
dependent?
actually, it's dependent on the matchup and also the jungle matchup. If they had a Lilia, I would consider buying cloth armor, but I wouldn't maybe finish my boots fully. I think that it slows your spike down a lot if you fully upgrade your boots, and that can be a problem. But if they have like an 80 top laner and an 80 jungler,
Kled,
it's
Neferi
yeah,
here.
and they're
Yeah.
auto tech heavy as well, right? So it's really really good to rush boots in this game. Yeah.
And this is where you went Sundered Sky. What's the reasoning for Sundered Sky here? You didn't really
Yeah,
mention
because
Sundered Sky first item, did you?
I did, yeah, I did. You just go Thunder Sky if you don't go Shojin, basically, right?
Ah,
And
okay.
Shojin is just for extended fights. Yeah, Thunder Sky is really good this game because if you look at the enemy team comp, they have not that many like tanky uh, champions. And on side lane, I'm not going to use like 3 Q rotations, right? I'm going to use maybe 1 or 2. And yeah, I think it's good. Also, Thunder Sky is so OP compared with paired up with Voltaic and then also Soreldas as well. Like one auto with ult, it will deal like 800 damage. You know.
So this seems like a really like juicy carry build, like Sundered Sky Volcanic, the Grudge, and then you finish off with sort of Death Stance and then more here. Like you're
Yeah.
doing a lot of damage in this build, you know,
Yeah.
like there's a scary Aatrox.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I see. So yeah. So the way, sorry to clarify. So either the Sundered Sky or Sojourn, and then you're always going Volcanic Sword second, Cyclo Sword second. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. Most games, yeah. Unless they have like a Jace, then I'll go Voltaic first, or Gnar, for example. They're just like range champions. Then yes, these are your core 2 items always.
This one here says you went to the tier 2 boots, but did you lane against it? Was it Yone switched? It was Yone and Hecarim, I assume,
Yeah.
this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yone and Hecarim topside.
Yeah, and this one here, you went Eclipse first item.
Yeah, I tried it out just to see how it went because I hadn't built it yet, and I saw some OTPs building this every game, but it didn't feel good at all. Because
Okay.
I just felt very weak in team fights. Like if the enemies are targeting me, I have very low HP because the item doesn't provide that. And then my damage was about the same, honestly, so I didn't really like it. I wouldn't recommend that.
Okay, so let's look at items now that the general community is after, and like sort of look at some win rates because I sort of want to talk through some items here. So it looks like majority of the community are going. This is in Emerald Plus Aatrox players, right? Eclipse first, 30%
Yeah.
pick rate, then Sojourn, so Sun and Sky. So people love it Eclipse. Luca, you're anti-Eclipse, dude.
Yeah, I'm not an Eclipse enjoyer. I'm not.
Yeah.
I think it's not only. I mean, it's maybe a better first item spike than the others, but I think on your second and third items, the other items synergize so well with each other. You know, not only on side lane but also in team fights. So yeah, I'm just not a big Eclipse fan, and I mean the win rate also reflects it a little bit, right?
Yeah, the win rate for Sojourn is, and these are higher slightly. People are building Sun and Sky's second item, mostly here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're saying, you know, Volcanic, you're going Cyclo Sword like literally every game, basically, second.
Yeah. Yeah. Every game.
Does have the highest win rate, Lucas, so you're on to that one.
Mm-hmm.
Third item, it seems like the general consensus is Grudge. Would you ever go Sterax? Or do you
Yeah, I
you're not
would.
really thinking of damage?
Yeah,
When
if
would
you
you go
play against a
Sterax?
Garen or Darius and Cho'Gath, like these champions have like true damage ults, and Stark's Gauge Shield is very good at absorbing those. So you can consider that. But let's say that the Garen is 0-6 in that game. I think you can snowball much harder with Soraka still.
And Serpents is situational third against Shields.
Yeah, if they just have this abundance of shields, then yeah.
Are you ever building Black Cleaver?
Very rarely. Like I think Black Cleaver is good as I think it's good as a second or first item, but only if the enemies have very very hard armor comp, like a lot of armor, and also if your team has like a lot of AD as well, right? Because you're breaking the enemy's armor for you and your team. But the thing is, okay, let's say they have an Ornn and a Rammus or something, and your team has a Lilia. You don't have to build Black Cleaver because you're going to build Soreldas, right? And you're not focusing those guys in team fights. But if your team is like a full like Lee Sin and stuff, then yeah, I think Black Cleaver is good.
And talking about sort of fourth, fifth, sixth items, looks like this is pretty much what you were going anyway. Is there any ones in
Yeah.
particular you want to sort of mention? Like, do you really like the Death Stance? Like, Spirit Visage is obviously really good because of the healing, right? That seems like
Yeah,
a really
yeah.
high value item.
Yes.
When will you decide
Yes.
between Spirit Visage and Maw with Magic Resist, by the way? Which one do you
Yes.
prefer for the MR?
Yeah, so literally Maul is better for I think actually this is a hard one, but I think the general consensus should be you should buy Spirit Visage if you have Sunder Sky because the healing is just synergizes a lot better.
Okay.
And Maul is better if you're playing against
Sojin.
like a if you have Shojin maybe. I think that's a pretty good rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you can go death stance if like okay, so basically when you come out of base, you just press tab and you like see who you're focusing in team fights and like who's strong, and then you decide whether you buy death stance or like an MR item based on that. And that's basically it.
It
I think
seems like
death
a
stance is a
lot of
very good
people are
rule.
going Death Stance 5th item.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's you can. I mean, it's either death stance 4th or 5th usually. Again, depending on if the enemies have a strong AP damage or AD damage carry, basically. I think that's the general.
Tell me about healing reduction. So do you build that much? I see you built an Executioners there, and I saw a Bramble somewhere here as well.
Why did I do it? Wait, can you go back to the game?
Executioners.
Why did I buy Executioners? Wait.
So you think that's
Nah,
really
it's
bad?
not good. It's
This
not
is
good this
I
game.
think this was your test build one,
Wait.
right? That
Oh,
one.
it was against Zach. Okay, never mind. It was against Zach. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, against Zach it's good.
Because Thornmail doesn't really matter against Zach, right? So you have to sort of get the... Yeah, that makes sense. But typically you will buy Thornmail against like a Darius or whatever it is. So the Bramble Vest, is that right?
No, not against Darius because his healing is very conditional. You can dodge it easily. I would go Bramble against Fiora.
Fiora. I think I was looking for the Fiora game. Where is it?
Yeah, there should be one.
Oh, this one
there.
here. This one here. Yeah, okay. So this is against the Fiora. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I also bought Tavis. Bit overkill maybe, but I think it's good.
Okay. So that's for the items, unless you had anything else you wanted to mention.
Yeah, actually last thing. There are a couple like very, very specific builds you can go as well. One is if you're playing as Vayne, you should rush Edge of Night because Vayne only has one way to proc it, and that's with her E. But if she procs it with her E, her E is down, and then you can easily just kill her. So specifically against Vayne, you go Edge of Night, and you also buy like Oracle Lens and stuff to go into the bushes. And then specifically against Rumble and Gwen, these are champions where you can literally just fully rush Maw. Like you can finish the entire item. You buy Hexdrinker into Maw, and then second item you go either. I mean, usually you just go Thunder Sky, and then you keep going from there. But yeah, those are like very specific things you can do as well.
Is the Edge of Night Vayne one? You go Sundered Sky second as well on that one?
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Oh, you could actually against Vayne, you could even go for take second, I think, because it like this matchup is all about who has more damage, and you just want to kill her with like one rotation basically. So you want like ult auto her and then just Q her down, right, and then go into the bush.
And you said you get the red sweeper trinket so you could see her in her stealth. Is that right?
No, well, yes, also, but if Vayne is like outside of the bush and you're inside of the bush and you're sweeping, she has to go into melee range to attack you, and then that's why you're stronger, right? So that's kind of like the little mini game you can play.
Very cool. Okay, so skill order, is this cookie cutter? Is there any consensus of the community? Does people go one tricks go crazy things? It looks like we do. We start Q into E, Q max, E max, and then W last. Is this normal?
This is very normal, and there are a couple of variations you can do, but this should be almost every game. The only thing that you can change is a lot of Aatrox one tricks. They go Q, E, double Q, and then W. So at level 5, they'll choose W instead of at level 3. So that your Q just deals more damage. You can do this against champions with very high mobility who can touch your W easily anyway, such as Riven or Fiora. So against Fiora, I would do maybe, well, next time, I'll do QE, instead of QEW. And then something you can do, like after level 9, where your Q is fully maxed already, instead of just maxing E, you can like kind of choose E and then W and then E and then W, like intertwine those. Because your W, when you level it, your slow increases as well, and that's in some matchups is very beneficial. Let's say you play against a Sion with Swifties or something. If you have 2 points into W, it will be different from 1 point, for example, right?
Okay, that makes sense. And runes, lastly. Conqueror, I assume, is the go-to. Is there any other main rune people will take?
Electrocute.
Electrocute, when you'll go that against what, like Veins and stuff like that?
Yeah, I would go Electrocute into matchups where you only want to do short trades. The goal of the matchup is to get one short trade and then look for an all-in. Now, I haven't played those matchups here. I played one. It was against Vladimir.
Vladimir, yeah.
Realistically, you will never be able to stack Conk fully in lane at least. Maybe on side lane later on. But yeah, this is very good against ranged champions.
And this one here, you said you actually didn't get the Maul though. You went Hex Drinker into the Cyclo Sword. Would you change
Yeah,
your
I think
mind
that was
here?
a
Would
mistake.
you? Yes, you go Rush Maul.
Yeah, I think that was a mistake.
Okay, so let's go back to our. So, but most of the time, looks like 80% of the time, it's pretty much Conqueror, right?
Yeah. I mean, some people prefer electrocute even against something like Fiora. I think that's not even that bad because against Fiora you don't want to extend your fights anyway, right? You want to do one short trade, get her a bit low, and then you can all in her. But or like against Rumble or something. Yeah, if you look at like what one tricks are doing, they tend to have like a 50% conk, 50% electrocute. I'm pretty sure.
Oh wow. Okay. Is that because you think you just haven't got you didn't play enough Aatrox? You didn't
Yeah,
50 or you just in general prefer Conqueror?
yeah. I think I haven't played him to a degree where I know like a one trick does exactly when every single item and rune is the best. I have a general idea.
Okay, so is this change? Is this cookie cutter? Do you always go these runes every single time with the Conqueror, or do you switch these up at all at this any point based on matchups?
Yeah, like if you look at like the smaller runes, I think always Triumph. And some people like going the ability haste keystone more than attack speed. Personally, I like the attack speed more because I just think that you already have a lot of ability haste in your kit. And then the third rune is always going to be last stand. Then for secondary runes, I just default to resolve because it just makes your laning phase a little bit easier. And yeah, I think bone plating against like champions who do burst trades, and then second win against champions who do like more like more trades, right? Like small trades. So yeah, and then I like going unflinching against team comps with like some CC. Actually, this game was not the best. I think it was like a little bit autopilot this game. Going unflinching is not that good. I would go overgrowth instead, because in laning phase unflinching is really good if you have like if the enemy champion trades with CC a lot. So let's say like a Poppy, then it's really good because you're getting a lot of value every time you trade. You'll get the value from the armor. But in this laning phase, you should go overgrowth. And then, as for the like attack speed versus adaptive power, like shards, I think some people prefer attack speed. The way I see it is you should either go attack speed or adaptive, but you should never change it up because it will really fuck with your combos. If you do adaptive one game and attack speed the other, you're not gonna be able to weave your autos in as consistently. So I just go double adaptive every single game just to have more muscle memory, basically. Whether that's correct or not, I don't. It doesn't really matter to me. I think you can make an argument for like farming on the tower more easily, for example, with the attack speed shard. But I think Aatrox can do that pretty fine right now, so not really too big of a problem. And then yeah, flat HP versus scaling HP. I think flat HP is just for matchups where you are trading a lot early, and then scaling HP is for matchups where you want to like scale up a little bit.
And that's like Fiora in this one because
Yeah,
why is that?
yeah, because I want to fight her once I have my Bramble and Tabis, so
Okay,
I
so
want to
you're
wait.
not looking to interact with her early, so you're just gonna get pushed in early
Mm,
against Fiora.
no, because even if I do have flat HP, it doesn't matter. Like she still wins, right?
Okay, that wraps up our build section for Aatrox. Okay, abilities, combos. What do people need to know when they're playing Aatrox, Looca? I guess the big things to start with is what does all your abilities do?
Yeah. So well, your passive. Let's start with that. Is like an empowered auto attack, right? It deals percentage max HP damage, so it's really good against. Well, I mean, it's just good against champions with a lot of HP, and it restores a lot of HP as well, right? It's like a life steal. And yeah, every time you hit a champion with auto attacks or Qs, the cooldown goes down a little bit, right? As you can see. So you kind of want to start your combo with an auto attack and then kind of Q afterwards, so that you get the max value, if that makes sense.
I see.
Um,
So
and
the
then you have
moment you
your
auto attack, you proc it. So do you sometimes think about holding your auto attack in certain like to trade with them because it's somebody going to do extra bonus damage? Like, how do you decide between hitting it procs on minions, right?
yeah, those are proxy means, yes.
So how do you decide
Yeah,
when hitting minions with it versus champions?
yeah. So you have to kind of make a like mental priority list. I suppose you kind of want to just, if you can, auto champion, but if they're standing really far back and you're going to lose farm while holding your auto attack, just use it on me. And like you shouldn't be too tunnel visioned on losing farm to hold your auto attack, right? But generally speaking, yeah, once you have it, like it also gives a little bit of extra range, so it's much easier to like poke someone when they're going for a last hit, for example.
And how do you get it back? Your passive is just time. It's also just duration. So that's your passive 10 seconds there, right?
Yeah, and it scales with levels, and also you get it back by hitting the enemy. Only works on champions though, not on minions. So, but you have to either auto attack or Q them to. I think W works as well. Yeah. So your abilities basically refresh your auto attack passive thingy.
I see. So if you're hitting everything, auto attack skews, you're going to have a lot of passive procs in a fight potentially, especially the higher level you go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's why you want to use them between your abilities. We'll get there as well. But yeah. Okay, and then your Q. Your Q is basically just a, well, it's a knock up, and it deals damage in a like refined area. You can see the. One sec. You can see there's a small area where it deals more damage, and it knocks up. And if you don't hit that spot, it deals less damage and doesn't
I
knock up. Right?
see.
You can see.
Yeah. So you have to
Um,
get them just in that area, and each ability has sort of a different area. You got the circle, you got like on the edge, and Q1 is the easiest to hit. It's the longest range. Is that right? Your first Q?
I think it's not the easiest. It's actually the hardest hit because it's a very thin one.
Thin. I see.
Yeah. People have the most struggle with hitting the first Q, I think. And the second one's I think is the easiest because it's a very wide one and it's pretty short as well, so it has a much larger surface area, as you can see. And the third one is people don't struggle with that too much, I think, but yeah, when it comes to combos, people tend to not hit the third Q because of a couple of reasons. We'll get there again.
Okay, W.
Yeah, W is basically your Infernal Chains ability. You basically have a skill shot, right? You can aim it, and it's a once you hit it, it will start this animation where after I think 2 seconds or 1.5 seconds, it will pull someone back to the middle. So let's say they walk away. I can go to Scuttle maybe. See, it will pull them back. But if they run out of it, then let me try to hit it like this. If they run out of it, then they will not be pulled back. This guy's a bit too
Crab's too
slow.
slow. Crab's just too
Yeah, but it
slow.
also slows your W, so
Yeah.
it helps as well.
E.
Yeah, you use just a simple dash and it can go over walls. There are some big walls you can go over as well, like these.
And does the cooldown reduce by hitting abilities, or
No, not on E. Let me.
I think you got the ability refresh on. So that the E is literally just a flat cooldown whenever, and you just jump around, and you just have to wait for the cooldown to come back up to get another E off.
Yeah, basically, it used to be that you have like 2 stacks, but it's not like that anymore.
All right, and your ultimate, you get into like a big demon thing.
Yeah, so basically your ult is you become your true demonic form. It says you fear nearby minions, which is not that useful. And then for 3 seconds, you gain like 60% movement speed. Right? Oh no, for 10 seconds actually, you get movement speed. And then you also gain more AD. So you want to use your ult at the start of a combo if you can, because you get more AD value. And you also increase your self healing because you heal with your abilities.
I see. So that's why I see a lot of Aatrox. They just instantly just start the moment the fight's happening. They just instantly press R, which I guess is sometimes a detriment as a principle because some people waste their R's just get kited out. A lot of the time, I sometimes see with Aatrox as well. Do you find that?
Yeah, and I also see a lot of people use their combo and then R after, and then they're like
Yeah, you
auto
do
attacking
no
people
damage.
instead of like
Yeah.
starting the combo with their ult.
All right, so one of the most important things people will need to know about Aatrox, and also again from your reviews, your experience coaching in Top Lane Academy, Looca, what are a lot of the mistakes people think, or things that people just don't know about Aatrox?
Yeah, so I think what's let's start with what people do right, and then we can look at what people
Yeah,
do
what's
wrong
the
as
most
well.
important thing to do to play this champion properly?
Yeah, so I think the most important thing is weaving auto attacks between your abilities, and this will give you maximum damage. So a good example of this would be if you just Q, auto Q, auto Q, right? And then you're getting a lot of auto attacks in between your Qs that way, compared to if you do like only this, right? There is a slight cooldown in between each Q. You can see. I cannot use my second Q for like 1 second or something after I use it. So that's the perfect timing to just weave an auto attack in. So that's the main thing you need to worry about. Um, And then also, like as I said, using your auto at the start of a combo is really important, because if I use it at the start of the combo, you can see it will be back up now.
Yeah, your passive. So you get two auto attacks in your two auto attack passive procs in one combo, basically.
Yeah, exactly, and that's really important. Also, a lot of people make the mistake of, let's say the enemy is a Riven right now, and she has like her E up or something. A lot of people will go out. They will go into your EQ range, which is like here, right? If you want to hit your Q right now, you have to pair it up with an E. Yes, you go like this. But the problem with this is that often, like if they're still clicking away, you're not in range for your W or your second Q. This is a mistake a lot of people make, because the proper way to do it is you walk into your first Q range, and then you still have your E for your second Q or your third Q. And yeah, I think that's really important, because this will just 10 times your trades.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and then I think another important thing is using when you use your W. Now, in my opinion, the best time to use your W is after hitting your first Q, because the knockup kind of guarantees you to hit it. They're kind of like stuck in this place right after you knock them up. Let me see. So like here, after hitting your first Q, you hit your W, and then usually you can pair your W slow with your second Q, and then you can pair your pool that your W gives with your third Q. So a
I
normal
see.
combo would kind of look like this. You also auto attack in between a little bit as well.
So the first Q knock up is helping you hit the W. That's going to guarantee
Yeah.
hit it because they're going to be CC, IC. So yeah, his kit's really beautifully designed. Really, when you think about it, I guess everything sort of just comes together really nicely, right?
Yeah. It's
very
nice.
intuitive to auto attack between your Qs, to W with the first Q knock up.
Yeah, and then also your ult, as I said, you need to be very mindful of, like, whenever you're going for a trade. Let's say the enemy just used all their mobility spells, and you know that you can hit your Qs like quite easily now. You don't have to be afraid to just pop your ult and then use all your stuff. Also, your ult will make it easier to hit your Qs, because you're going to gap close much faster, right?
Yep.
Another thing is, like, your auto attack is your E is an auto attack reset. So if you auto E auto, it's very fast. You can use this to farm, for example, or you could use it to just deal more damage to players. So that's you keep that in mind as well.
Okay, so what are some major? You already sort of talked a little bit about some issues that you see with Aatrox players. What else do we need to know with typical things that you see where people just misplay Aatrox's abilities?
Yeah, a lot of people. So here's a little common dilemma for you. Well, actually, two things. First, I want to talk about your Q and the way it works when the cooldown's up. So whenever you use a Q, let's look at the first Q. If I let it run out, and I don't use the second and third Q, the cooldown's 6 seconds, right? Sorry. But if I use my second Q, let's see. If I don't use the third Q,
Yep.
okay, it's still 6 seconds. Wait. Let's say I use the third Q. Okay, now it's 10 seconds. Okay, so basically, using the third Q or not makes a massive difference between your next Q's cooldown. So if your third Q doesn't really do much in a trade, then you just don't use it, and then you have your next Q up much faster.
Quicker.
That's
I
one
see.
really important thing. When you're playing Aatrox, your W and Q cooldown should be synced, because without your W, you're not going to be able to hit many Qs, because any good opponent will just try to run away, right? You need your W pool and the slow to hit your Qs. A major mistake a lot of Aatrox players make is they will use Q like this, and then they'll like use their W like this, like after their Qs,
Yeah,
right?
after everything, yeah.
And now you can see the cooldowns of the two are like very, very mismatched. And then they'll fall into the trap of, again, now they're going to use their Q again, but their W is still off cooldown.
Yeah, but if you start with the copy, your W will be back up typically at that point. Yes,
Yeah.
So you could do two Ws theoretically in a fight, especially later stages. Then you have more ability haste.
Yeah, exactly. And so you want to really try to use your W as soon as you can in your combo. And also try to be mindful of, like, a lot of people just, like, when they're done trading and the enemy walks away, then they'll just like throw W like this and then just walk away, and it doesn't do anything. And now your W is 20-second cooldown. It's quite a lot, early game.
So how important is, if you miss W, do you just useless as Aatrox, or like you can't hit your Qs? Like how important is it to hit your Ws?
So if you're looking at just a isolated trade with the enemy where you're kind of hitting each other, yeah, you need your W 100%, right? It's crucial. Like if a Jax jumps on you and you don't have W, you're not going to be able to kite him because you're not going to be able to slow him and put him away. But if you have your W, it's different, right? When it comes to like it kind of depends on the wave state as well. If the wave is pushing away from you, yeah, your W is really important. If the wave is pushing towards you, then you can just like kind of punish enemies for last hitting like this. You can just stand there, then your W is not that important. So yeah, it depends on the matchup and the waste as well. But generally, you want to be a bit greedy with your W. You need to hold it a little bit, be more patient with it.
Okay. Any other tips and general tips and tricks? Maybe some more like advanced things, or Looca, to finish this section off.
Yeah, more advanced things. I think using the bushes Aatrox is really overpowered because when someone is face checking you, you're very strong. You can even choose to like throw away your first Q, and then when someone's face checking you, you can like easily hit this combo here. So that's something you can do. And then another thing is, of course, like mixing your flash in between your combos, right? A lot of people will do something like this where they're Q flashing in team fights and then finish up with an auto attack. That's a very, very powerful combo, especially on 3 items. Your third Q paired up with ult, and then an auto attack with like Thunder Sky, for example, will just completely one shot any AD carry. So that's like something you can do. So that's why I think having flash and being very conservative with it on Aatrox is pretty nice.
You want to
If you know
save
you're
it
about
to
to
be
team fight.
aggressive. You love
Yeah,
having
yeah.
Q aggressively. It's really important for like one-shotting people, especially in mid game team fights.
Yeah, exactly. And there's also some mind games because in higher elos, people will expect you to flash Q. Let's say this guy's 1 HP and I have like my third Q and I'm chasing him here. I sometimes I just won't even flash even though it's a free kill because I assume they're gonna flash away and then I just
Yeah.
have flash advantage for the next fight. Or if you're on top of someone and he's 1 HP right now and you're gonna queue like this, like you can predict their flash here. And let's say they don't flash, well, you're still in the position where you're kind of here and they're here and you cut off their escape. So very often, if you think they'll flash, just go for it. If you think you can predict it, because even if they don't flash, you're still in a good spot.
And you were saying it's flash Q. It's Q flash though, right? The third Q. You press the Q and then you
Yeah, you
first
queue
and then you
first and
flash,
then you
right?
flash because
Yeah,
there's a
then you
little wind
flash.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a wind up. Yeah.
yeah, you
So that's
can't
what you
really.
do. So you wind it up and then they flash it and you don't actually flash. And then that's like a high-elo mind game type thing. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that covers most of the stuff. You
All
can
right.
also flash backwards, of course, and stuff. Oh, yeah, there's one more thing actually.
Yeah.
So your second Q is a kind of you can see it's like a wide arc, right? Like an arch. Don't know what the actual word. Um, but you can see that the edges, you can actually hit your Q much further if I can do it correctly. Let's see it. So the edges are much further than if you try to hit it like that.
I see. Interesting.
Let's see.
So that's interesting. I always thought the first Q was the easiest to hit, but it's actually your second Q.
Yeah, your second Q is much easier to hit. So let's see if I can do it. I'm a bit of a noob sometimes. Yeah, so okay, whatever. Anyway, yeah, so you can try to hit the edge of the you can try to hit the edge of the second Q if you're not noob like me, because it's a bit wider.
All right, Looca, let's jump into some high-elo EOS gameplay now. If you're serious about improving in ranked and want to join a community of like-minded people, as well as get access to a bunch of really useful resources covering mindset, how to climb, tier lists, head over to our school community. Free to join, wtl.lol/school, or join in the description below. Okay, so Looca, before we get into the actual game here, I want to just talk about some general high-level theory around Aatrox. So at a high level, like what does a really good Aatrox game look like? I guess from like team comp wise, or like how the game plays out. How do you define a really good Aatrox game?
Yeah, so I think that the problem with Aatrox is that you're not very mobile, and it's very hard to hit your abilities against high mobility champions. So and also high DPS champions are very good against Aatrox too. So the best game for Aatrox is where you're allowed to kind of scale a little bit, kind of go even in the game if you have like a good matchup, as Sion is. And then also if the enemy carries who you're trying to focus in fights aren't too mobile and they're low DPS, like a bit more burst damage can be fine. So in this case, they have an Anivia who is very very easy to target in fights, and a Tristana who is also quite easy to hit, and also a Nautilus, right? I think that's the best Sion game. Sorry, Aatrox game.
So this is the ultimate Aatrox game.
It's close, yes. I think it's very good because you have a good matchup, so you're allowed to scale, and in team fights you have a very clear cut out job. Also, your team has my team has good setup this game too, where they can start a fight for me, and then I can be on the flank and kind of use that to my advantage, right?
So you sort of say, like, in general, you sort of want to begin scale. Like, what are sort of the breakpoints? Like, what levels, what items, or you just typically just, you think the power spike curve is like similar the whole game? Are you strong early game, weak? So, where do you think you spike as Aatrox?
Definitely 3 items.
So
Definitely
three
three items. I
items.
think 3 items you're very very strong, but you can start fighting on 1 or 2 items too. I think you have like a decent spike on every item, but on 3 items you're very very strong. Yes.
What about pre one
Um,
item?
yeah, level 9 is a very strong spike because you have 5 points in Q. Um, and I'd say level 6 are pretty strong too. But yeah, generally level 9 is your biggest spike before your first item.
So pre first item, you're generally weak and you lose a lot of matchups, or is it
Yes.
purely skill based? It's like how many Qs you can hit.
It's not purely skill based because it's not just about hitting Qs, also about wave states, right? And you in most matchups you don't get early priority, which is already a very bad thing.
So what are you generally trying to do with the wave then? What's your goal with the wave?
Well, if I can, I want to slow push it and then uh, try to have the wave be either frozen early game, but like after a certain point, I want it to be even in the lane, and then I'll do a kind of a trick where you're slow pushing into hard pushing, and the entire time you're either standing in the bushes or you're standing on the side of the wave, and you're trying not to trade in the enemy mean wave too much because you don't want to push the wave too fast, and you'll see that in this VOD as well.
All right, let's jump into the VOD here. So, as you said, you're versing a Sion here. So, do we go Dorans Blade Health Potion every single game?
No, no, definitely not. In matches where you know you get early priority, you can trade a lot and play aggressively. So, like, I would say Sion is a good example because he's a very beefy target and you'll get a lot of value from the extra AD because you're trading a lot. But against maybe an Ornn, for example, even though it's like the same type of champion, I wouldn't do that because Ornn has a lot stronger early trades and he has a lot more poke as well, right, with his Qs and Ws. Um, there are certain things like, okay, let's say playing against a Darius, in a higher elo game, any good Darius would do a crash and then walk back to lane with an item advantage and try to all in you. And in that case, you want D Blade because you know for a fact that you have to fight him. And then if you're looking to do all in fights, D Blade is just much better than D Shield. But if there is like a lane where you're slowly getting chipped down, then I would say D Shield is much better.
Okay, so you sort of got to make that decision between D Shield and Doran's Blade.
Yeah, you have to kind of think ahead of the matchup, like what does the enemy want to do, how does the trading look, and stuff like that.
Okay, so at a base, do you have a specific place you'd like to stand? Do you like rush into the bushes? Do you like going there? Is there anything you particularly you do, like literally level 1 out of base as Aatrox?
It's matchup specific for sure. So generally speaking, you want to cover your jungler's entrance so that they don't invade him and die, and he dies, right?
So that would be
But
here.
against Sion, yeah, exactly, and a little bit outside of the bush as well, not inside of the bush because you can get
So like
cheesed by the wall.
this middle bush.
Yeah, you can go there, yeah, that's a good place to stand. Um, you got to make sure you don't get like invaded from the lane on top lane as well. You need a place to run towards. But against Sion and like GP and Alawi, these are champions that really like to start inside of the bush because a good Sion player will know that if he gets a fully charged Q on the wave or on me level 1, he can actually win the lane. Because my
Interesting.
champion is actually not that strong level 1. So I need to contest the bush for sure. So I can push him out and trade and stuff.
All right, so Sion much up here. So, what are you thinking? So you're looking to bully him a little bit with your Doran's Blade.
Yeah, I'm literally looking to just make a slow push, and every time I have Q, I want to use it when he's in range. I also have to respect his W damage. If I get hit by too many Ws, he's going to be able to kind of contest me. And my mental priority list is getting my own CS over trading. So if I can choose between getting a small trade or like a minion, I would rather get the CS.
And that's the mindset again of scaling, getting 3 items.
Yeah, and if you're playing a game where Aatrox is less good because they have like a Lucian or something, right? A high, like maybe a hard champ to kill mid as well, then you want to play more aggressively because your champ is not that good inside the game if you're even, you know.
So I just thought your first Q combo there, you mentioned, I saw you didn't do the third Q and you got your Q up quicker. That was like, looks very intentional because you knew you weren't going to hit the Q3. So that seems like that probably happens quite often because your Q3 is such short range, right? So you just let it drop and have the shorter Q cooldown.
Yep. Yeah, you can do that. Here I do it as well.
So this looks perfect so far, right? This is your ideal situation, right? You have control of the wave. You're you're slow building in, and this is awesome, right? And then you just play for the bounce back, I assume.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. And I want to make sure that I get every CS and I can punish him here and there. Dodge not the W. Very good. He's holding the wave, but it doesn't matter because it's a cannon wave, so it'll push towards me anyway. Even if I have a couple creeps there.
So right now you're not. A lot of people could maybe start shoving the wave or whatever. Your just mindset is just literally last hit and wait for the wave to come to you, no matter what. Is that what it is, or if you could take really good trades, will you shove in the wave?
Yeah. So early game, this is definitely the case. If it means that I have to hit his wave to trade with him, I don't want to do it because I want the wave to be on my side.
Okay.
Not only am I safer from getting ganked, but also he is in more of a dangerous position because I can run him down because he's further from his turret, right?
I see. You like chasing people in long lanes with your W and your E's. I see.
Yeah. So here you can see the entire time in this matchup, something people aren't conscious of is their position relative to your minion wave. Now, Sion, if he wants to poke me, he can often do that while lasting a creep with his Q. But if I'm standing on the side of the wave, he can never do that. So you want to position yourself on the side of your minion wave, not the inside of it, you know? So here I'm using the bushes.
So it looks like now it's going to be basically shove into him now. So you've taken a lot of trades. So I guess this is great for you though, still, right? You know, you've gotten his flash. You know, like you're not really in threat. Why did you not go for a ward here out of curiosity? Because you see the enemy jungler, right?
Yeah, I was going for a ward, and then I saw the enemy jungler, and I was like, oh,
Okay.
never mind. But now I know that he wants to go topside, so I'll ward anyway. You can also see I'm warding quite deep. I'm not warding shallow. Like a lot of people would ward the bush, but I like to ward a bit further, I think.
So you can get more reaction time to the gank if
Yeah.
that's the case.
Yeah.
I guess warding the bush is useless, right? You ideally spot them, so you get a little bit deeper.
Yeah, if you can, like, if you look at LCK games, like people will ward very, very deep.
Even further up, like here or something.
Yeah, like just the entrance, you know.
Yeah.
Here you can see I'm standing on the side of the wave. If he last hits the creep, I can Q him, and if he Qs me, he will lose his Q and he can't last it. So I'm creating a dilemma for this guy.
I see. So when you say the silence, so you like to always be standing there to compare to your minions. You don't like to sit on top of your minions.
Yeah, I'm creating an angle. So if he walks up, I can walk forward, and now he's in a very bad spot. I'm creating a very big dilemma for him.
Yeah, I see. So you constantly just like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And here I'm making sure that I don't Q if it means that I'm going to hit his entire wave and make it push back to him. Here I can do it a little bit, but the wave's still going to push towards me, right? So you can still die to a gank here.
So people have to be very careful of not queuing the wave too much, accidentally hitting it because you have so much AoE.
Yeah, there's just a mental priority list again. Like same thing for like going for last hits rather than trades. You just think more about the wave than trading. Like just trade, like wave state is more important than trades because look at this trade. It's only possible because of the wave state I created earlier. Like I'm zoning in from XP right now because I cared a lot about the mean HP, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, he's going to have to base now. So what do we do here? I'm curious. You're just going to base and just TP back and hold a freeze, right?
I don't want to freeze at this point anymore. Because not only is Sion can easily proxy if you're freezing, or he can impact the map somewhere with his ult.
I see.
So that's one reason not to freeze. But the second reason is that I don't have priority for the grubs. in the new patch it's like 8 minutes instead of 6, but still you kind of don't want to freeze against a tank after a certain point. I also see that I bought a control ward. Comes in very handy in winning matchups. A lot of people don't like buying those, but I think they're very OP.
Very
Okay.
disciplined, not like overreaching too much. I'd see a lot of players just chase because like Sion's low
Yeah.
HP. I got to chase him, right? So I guess this looks like a big part. It's like when you have no cooldowns, don't even bother. Like look at that speed that you're doing that Looca. Like a lot of people would keep chasing. I would see right now, you know, and like
Yeah.
I'm sure you probably see that a lot in your VOD reviews.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just about the fact that there's a wave right now. And if I chase him, I'll probably lose a lot of that wave. So again, my mental priority
Your
list, I care more
priority
about the
is
farm.
minions, the farm. Yes.
Yeah. So here I see him walking down, and I'm scared that he's gonna go for proxy. So the counterplay to this is literally to just kind of stand back and walk your wave to the lane. So that's what I do. Even if I lose a couple creeps for it, I don't want like the moment he proxies, the game is fucked because he is just escaping a terrible matchup.
I see.
Okay,
So
so can you pause it?
you need to protect the waves. That's what you're basically saying here. So you prevent proxying by like so that's why you like walked a bit back here. Like right now,
Yeah.
Sion could be here, so you want to start smacking his head in if he starts hitting the wave. Because if you're a lot of people will be hitting the minions there, and then Sion
Yeah.
starts proxying, and that's when you say it's game over, basically.
That's when he escapes the matchup because now
Yes.
if I try to kill him, he will just like fuck around and run and stuff. It's really annoying.
Yeah. So you got to make sure you protect your wave so he's not proxying.
Yeah. So this is a very crucial moment in the matchup skip pulse. So a lot of people struggle with snowballing or like creating a lead in their match, or like they already have a lead but they don't know how to forward that lead, right? And what I often tell people is you have two options. One, you can do this where you're slow pushing into hard pushing, what I'm doing here. And the reason this works so well is because anytime he goes up for a last hit, you can just trade on him because the wave's in the middle. If you're just hard pushing waves, he's going to catch him on the turret. You're not gaining anything from that. The second thing you could do is you could start proxying and put a lot of vision in the enemy jungle. But I don't end up doing that this game. But it's generally pretty good if you have like a level lead and the enemy is playing a tank. You would rather look for proxy angles and then place wards, maybe take jungle camps, and also like after proxying you could TP bot, for example, if you have TP, because if you TP, the enemy top laner doesn't have a wave to hit your tower with, so that's very good as well. If your bot lane's losing or something, right, you can impact the map. And generally speaking, you can do that, but in this game I felt like I didn't have TP and I didn't want to do that, so I kept doing this, and you will see now what I do with the wave. I'm just standing on the side. Look, I'm literally standing here like staring at him, right? And I'm waiting for the wave to settle, which means that all the minions are hitting each other. So the caster minions are not hitting each other yet, so I'm waiting. And now I'm literally just walking behind him. And look, I'm not queuing him yet, right? I don't want to hit the wave too much.
I see.
So
You want to keep. So your mind says you want to keep the wave in neutral state as much as possible, so you can just zone this guy off experience forever.
yes, exactly. I want him to suffer, right? And a lot of people here would already start queuing.
Yeah,
But
they would have
you
queued
have to
so
auto
much.
Yeah, you have to auto first to stack your conk stacks. And also your Q range is more than your auto range. So you can just auto him until he's out of auto range and then start queuing him.
I see. So it's very valuable to get the Conqueror stack so you have more damage for your combo and you don't
Yeah.
ruin the wave. It's like a win-win scenario here. So you just walk up and auto attack, you don't even queue him. And then because you're
Yeah.
going to get queues off anyway because he's going to have to run in a straight line, right? He's walking back. I mean, to be honest, he's doing a good job juking you right there. Like that's some good movement there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that makes a lot of sense. So many Aatrox players would probably miss that, even probably up until like high diamond. What do you think, Looca?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And also I got two auto procs two passive procs that
Two passive
trade.
procs, yeah.
Here my Sin thinks that he wants to like come and dive, and I'm like, it's pointless. Like, don't come, please.
Okay.
I don't want this guy to give any attention to a tank that's trying to neutralize me. I want him to play for the other side of the map, right? So I ping him off. And here, even though this guy bases, a lot of people would harsh off the wave, but again, I'm just slow pushing, right? Because I don't really mind him basing and coming back with full HP and catching the wave. I just want to slow push into hard push all the time because he's going to lose much more that way.
And when you say he's going to lose much more, is that because it's harder to CS a wave under tower when there's so many minions?
Yeah, not only that, like I have a bigger window to like Pokemon Tower, yes, but also if there's a cannon wave and you're hard shoving, it's not gonna even lose that much because the cannon will absorb a lot of tower shots. Also, there's a chance that he doesn't actually base and he stays, and then if I hard shove the wave, he's just gonna be able to stay and catch it, right? So multiple reasons.
Another good example here, Looca, where, like you said in the practice tool example, you Q insta W, and that always
Yeah,
guarantees hits it.
yeah, yeah. I did say that you want to not use Q and E together, but if he doesn't know that I'm there, it's fine. And he doesn't have it is not a high mobility champion as well. Here you can see again, I don't want to queue him there, even as like he's like this guy's good, right? He's a very good player. He is standing in his range creeps on purpose to try and make me queue him to push the wave faster so he can catch it on
Intentionally,
a
I
turret.
see.
I
So,
know he's doing
so,
that.
so if people are struggling against Aatrox, and you want to, you're maybe losing to it, just literally just sit on your minions, and Aatrox will Q you, and then you'll be able to just catch waves under tower forever.
Exactly. So here, like I'm making this game an absolute nightmare for this guy. Look how many means he's missing here. Like he's just losing a lot of last hits, and that's a mindset you need. Like small wins, you know. Here, opening up with ult instead of using it after the combo.
Yes. Yeah.
He flashes. Again, another small win. I'm just collecting small wins left and right until I have such a big win that I'm really ahead now, you know. Okay, so again, entire time I'm just slow pushing into hard pushing, and because of that, I have 10 times the amount of trade windows that I would if I'm just hard pushing every wave, you know.
He's going to lose this whole wave, right, dude? So you're going to be up 20 farm on this guy.
He TP'd bot is actually
Oh,
he
he TP'd
swapped
bot.
because
Oh, what the hell? Oh, they
there was
swapped. Oh,
such
he
an
said,
unplayable
get me out of
matchup that
this
they
lane.
swapped.
I was going to say, he's like,
Yeah.
get me out of this lane. I see.
Yeah. Yeah, this is I'm not sure how often this happens in like lower ranks where people swap. But the proper the what you have to do is you have to kind of urge your team to swap back because you don't want to be in this matchup. You don't want to be against the enemy bot lane.
Yeah. You're useless
Um,
against these range champs. You're just going to get, especially in the support, you're just going to have to just farm on a tower, but you want to keep matching the Sion.
yeah, as much as possible. And this is kind of hell for me. I don't want to be here. I think there's like a fight and stuff here as well. Pulls him back.
Very clean.
I think do we end up killing him? Not sure. Oh, yeah, we do, yeah. Okay, this is another important bit here. So my mindset in this game is to just not die. Like that's it. Anytime there's a fight, I don't want to die. So if the fight looks even remotely hard, I'm at least positioning myself to be close to the fight if it's playable, if the enemies mess up or something. But if I die, I'm losing all my momentum in the game, right? Because I'm not farming and I'm not doing anything for 30 seconds. So there in that fight, I just position myself very, very safe so I don't die. And a lot of people would fall into the trap like, oh, my team's fighting, so I have to fight.
I got to
But
fight. I have to fight. Otherwise, they'll flame me, right? It's like, I got to go in. I got to save my
exactly.
teammates. I got to save my teammates.
Yeah,
If you walked up there, and Nivea will just probably kill you as well. You get, stunned
yeah.
and whatever. I see. Are you useless without your ults, by the way? Is that something you really think about playing around your ult cooldown? Or you still
No,
can
you're
kill
not
people
used
with
to
that
that.
ult?
No, you're not used to that ult. Definitely, it's hard to all in people though, and it's hard to like escape ganks and stuff as well. So you need to be a bit more safe, like play lower risk with your ult down. But yeah, you're still pretty strong without ult, I would say. I mean, it gives 20% extra damage, you know. Okay. Because here I see Sion is still bot lane, so I end up TPing there so that I can actually play the game. But then he recalls and goes top. So
Yeah.
so he's just like kind of fucking with me a little bit. Sorry, am I allowed to cuss by the way?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. But this is very awkward because now now I'm bot lane and I think the enemy bot lane will continue being here. Yeah, they're here. Dodge that little bit. Then I punish her because her W is down. Anytime you're playing against a champion with their mobility spell used, that should be a mental cue for you to just trade. Because the number, again, as I said, Aatrox hates mobility, right? You cannot hit your stuff if someone has mobility. But if she's jumping in like this, like now mentally I'm like, okay, 13-second window or something to just trade, right?
And you, again, the moment you know the fight's going to get started and you hit the W, then you're like, okay, I'm going to R early to try. Even though so it looks like you sort of fish because you said it was your principle. Like, people will be saying, well, Looca, why are you not Ring now, right? But I assume it's because you need to make sure that this W hits, otherwise you can't kill him, right? Is that the idea?
Yeah, exactly. And the moment I see it hits, I'm just going full ham on this guy, you know. And let's say I don't kill him, it's still fine because he's low, he has to recall, and if he doesn't, he's gonna
Yeah.
get dived. So I don't really mind it too much, even if I don't kill him. I just have to do something, right? So
Yeah. A good a flash, Q3 flash combo there to finish off the
yeah,
Aatrox.
yeah,
Sorry, the
yeah,
Nautilus.
exactly. Yeah, now I have 2 kills, 100 CS. I'm in a very, very good spot to carry this game. And my mindset right now is to play low risk and try to join as many fights as possible. That's it.
What would you say some misconceptions people have, or the general community have, you've heard about, or narratives about Aatrox?
Um, Actually, I don't have an answer for that. I don't know if there's any misconception. I think people,
Everyone sort of knows how to blame. Everyone's like, hey, we're in agreement, you know, sort of more of a
yeah, I
team
think
fight
so.
champion, not really too much of a side laner.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, it's pretty clear cut because the thing is, Aatrox has historically been such a popular. I think he's the most popular top lane champ historically, because people love his kit and people think he's cool. Right? It's a cool champion. Like he's just like this
Big
demon
demon
who
with a
walks around with
huge
a great
sword.
sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fucking cool. That's why a lot of people love this champ. So I think people figured him out pretty well over the years. Okay, so I end up going bot. Um,
So where's the
Actually,
Sion?
maybe we
Nivian's
can.
top.
Yeah, maybe we can look at why I open up bot lane instead of top here.
Yep. Yep.
Um,
It's a very good question. So Sion's
so
dead. Fru's dead.
yeah, so I have the option of going top, but I see that first of all, no one's defending bot lane, so that's one reason. But the second reason is the next objective is Drake, and if I press tab, like we're pretty even, but I'm really strong. Right? So I want to be on the side of the objective if possible because I don't mind fighting there. Like I think we can win, all things considered, everyone's items and levels and stuff. I think we have a pretty decent shot at winning fights. Also because my champ is just very strong in skirmishes against their team comp. That's why I picked Aatrox this game. So if I'm on the opposite side of the objective, I'm not going to be able to impact that fight. So I want to be on the side of the objective if possible. But as you can see, I'm clicking mid lane, and after clicking mid, I'm thinking, I'm still making my decision. And then I finally made my decision. I can go either top or bot or mid if I want to. But if
I
I
see. So
just run
you're even
straight top,
deciding. So a lot of people just click and they're just completely rigid. But you're like sort of like, if you're not sure, you'll click mid and then you can choose which one you go towards.
yeah, exactly. It's like yeah, it's the best way to do it, I think.
It's good to
Uh,
sort of see, you know, someone who is high ranked as you still have that like brain process. Like you still, you know, it's not that quick. I mean, obviously you're thinking quite far quickly, but you know,
yeah,
even then you have to make tough decisions in your games. You know.
yeah. It's very there's so many variables, right? So, but yeah, just clicking mid is a good habit to have because you're not contracting yourself to one lane. And here, because I'm bot lane, this play is we are allowed to able to do this. If I was not bot lane here, we're not doing
Mm.
this play. You know?
And would you say this is again your champ identity with Aatrox? You want to be skirmishing team fighting with your team,
Yeah, yeah,
ideally. And this is where your
yeah,
champion's pretty useful and strong.
yeah. You're not a side lane. Like you have to fight on Aatrox, and that's the major problem with the Aatrox is that most champions in the meta right now they're just too good against Aatrox. It's like they're just too mobile and too high damage. Like how are you ever gonna hit a combo on Ambessa? You know, not gonna happen, right? So in skirmishes she's stronger, and then also in side lane she's stronger. Um, so I think that's also part of the reason why Aatrox is like not that strong right now.
So yeah, I mean that's a really game-winning, you know, decision to go bot out of base there. You know, playing with the
Yeah,
objective, playing around your team, and this is you want to be around objectives and you know, dragons and heralds and that sort of stuff because
yeah,
that's where fights are going to break out, right? That's the logic because people contest
yeah,
objectives, right? Junglers lose their minds when they don't get an objective, right? They always look at the coin flip objectives.
yeah. And two things. First, I'm going bot because I have TP up. Next objective is top side, so I can TP there if I want to. And then secondly, I buy sweeper because I know that when I team fighting, I want to flank, and when you have a sweeper and you're flanking, you're going to be a bigger threat.
Okay. Yeah, I guess we'll get into that whole flanking thing because I always like, you know, see Aatrox players like run at me and it's like they're really far away. It's like I just laugh at them. There's burnout and run at me. It's like, what? Your champion's useless. What are you doing? You're not threatening. And Aatrox that
Yeah,
flanks is the scariest thing I'll ever see in League of
yeah,
Legends. It's like we're all
yeah,
dead.
because they could have their second or third Q the moment they jump over a wall, and you're just like Q auto and you're dead. You know, especially with the cyclone, the voltaic thingy.
Taking
But yeah, so
enemy
here I
camps
make a
when you can.
mistake. Here
Okay.
I make a mistake. I should be on this mid wave. I think I should be in between mid and top, so like somewhere in the river where I can either join the fight mid if the fight breaks out, or if the no fight breaks out, I can go back bot.
I see.
But by me not being on this mid wave, I'm not helping my team get mid priority, and then it's going to be harder for them to make a play on side, because if the enemy have mid priority, they can move to a side lane without losing much.
I see. Okay, so yeah, so this is just not worth the Krug. So you basically would hit this wave, and then you would run into river, or would you go this direction? That's too greedy, that direction.
I think if you have good info, like if you know where Nautilus and Fury are, then you can do that. It's
Yep.
it's faster, so it's better sometimes, and you also have like more of a flank angle. But if you don't have any info, then you should go through river.
Okay, so you're hovering mid just to so your teammates can play aggressive, and they could bait, right? Like they can bait if they fight, and you're there to come flank, and you get amazing flank. And if no fight happens, you could just go back bot again. It's just giving yourself, I guess, options. And this is, I guess, this is how you impact the map. And you know how you said that a lot of Aatrox struggle to close out the game. It's stuff like this, I guess, that they're missing in their gameplay, right?
Yeah, and then because of the sweeper, you can sweep a lot of vision while moving mid as well. And then if someone face checks you, again, Aatrox is one of the strongest champs that when someone face checks you, because you can just one-shot combo them. And yeah, like if I'm on this mid wave, I could help my team get priority, and then they could use that priority to go into the Herald and start the objective or get vision. But in this case, I messed up, and that was bad for me. Also, you can see my camera control is very. I mean, I'm trying to look at the fight as much as I can. I should. Well, I do a little bit at least. I should be doing it more. Near RTP.
And E over the wall, press R instantly.
Yeah, for the movement speed. I think my target selection was a bit weird here. Should have just gone the twist immediately. Get the kill. Okay, here comes a pretty crucial moment in the game. This is a mistake a lot of people make, including me in this game. You can see that my team is taking topside objectives, 2 of them, the turret and the Herald. I should look at the minimap and assume that the enemies are going to cross map here. Cross map means that they are going to make a play on the opposite side of where you're making a play, right?
So this is danger zone. This is danger zone for you right now.
Yeah, and I disrespected the fact that the Fury or Nautilus could be here, and I just fought the Sion mindlessly. Very big mistake. I can just push mid or do Gromp here and reset, and then go back bot and wait for my team to be in a position to help me. But yeah, here I die. And very, very, very bad, very bad.
Very classic mistake, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, I have to assume that Nefarious will be here because there's no other option for him or her on the map, you know.
And you said that, you really like holding your flash to be more aggressive and stuff. So now you've just lost your flash for the next fight as well, right? So a bit of a disaster.
Yeah, that's very bad. Absolutely. And Nefarious, like, on this patch, she was so good at carrying games. So me dying to her is very, very bad. Like, giving her a shutdown is going to make the game infinitely harder. I'm going to have a harder time carrying, and also she's going to have an easier time carrying.
So I guess you got really lucky there, Looca. Your team bailed you out hardcore there.
Yeah. That's could have been game losing as well. But yeah. So I'm dead now. Great screen, very fun. Here I also make another mistake. Actually, I make another mistake. So here I do open up mid. Yeah. Very good. But the mistake I make here is I end up going for wolves instead of being on the bot wave. It's hard to spot this, but if you're good at thinking ahead of time, then you should know that if you don't get the bot priority on this wave, the enemy Sion will get priority, and then he has a move instead of you, because the champion who pushes the wave first has the first move. That makes sense, right?
I see. So he's going to get to this wave first. You're wasting time with wolves. You should be on this wave to not let him get a free shove, because you're going to be basically catching the wave here, and he has a roam. That's what you're basically saying here.
Exactly. So twice this game, I did jungle camps on timers where I should not be doing them. And you outlook at punished for this. Yeah. Actually, like I'm trying to find a good balance between doing camps and not, and every time I catch myself doing camps, it just goes badly. So I just rarely do camps these days because you're just wasting so much tempo.
And especially, again, this matchup, like you've got Sojourn and stuff, like this is just illegal. The fact that he's able to get like even the lane this far up, right?
Yeah, he should not be able to walk past like the area here, like this blue flag, he should never be able to pass this.
Because you would be with your team right now instead of the opposite direction, right? Yeah. So again, you're delaying the game here, Looca, theoretically, right? You're just slowing the game down. You keep, not impacting.
All that for a wolf camp.
All that for a wolf camp. Yeah, there you go. And that's so hard to miss in a review, by the way, Luca. A lot of people would miss that.
Yeah, okay, yeah, fair. Yeah, it comes with experience, and well, here I also recalled because I had my spike, right, and I want to fight right now. If you have your spike, why not just fight? Like, if you have a decent chance of winning the fight, you should just do it. So I want to make sure that I'm on the objective before it spawns, because that way I can get a good position in terms of like flanking, right? If you're too late, enemies already started it. Usually you can't really do that. So here I'm here before the objective spawning, and I have a flank. So this is a
Beautiful.
perfect scenario for me. And yeah, I just clean up.
Yeah, demonstrating the strength of Aatrox when you're flanking.
Yeah, and also like buying Oracle, very, very important. Like the sweeper ward, very, very important. And buying control wards as well. Like if you have your spike, just buy. If you have like enough money after your spike, just buy a control ward, because it makes the enemies, their carries lives infinitely harder to in team fights, because they just don't know where you are. And if they don't have a vision on you, even if they know where you are, if they don't have an active ward on you, they don't know exactly where you are, and that's also added pressure. So here, just tempo recalling, like the bot wave's already pushed out, so I don't have to waste any time pushing it even further. Like I have a move right now, I have a turn right now, I like to call it. So I'm just opening up on the map. So here there's no objectives to play for, so I don't bother buying it. I don't want to buy too many control wards, you know.
Yeah, you don't run out of the map with 2 control wards. It's like
Yeah,
maybe 1 control ward. Would you ever buy 2 controls? It's like maybe like an Elder or like a big Baron or something like that.
no, I would never.
Never. So I
And
only max 1 control ward out of
it's
base.
150 goals a lot, you know.
It's a lot of gold, right?
So I only buy controllers if I look at the map state, I'm in base, I'm like, okay, there's a fight soon, and I want to flank. I'm buying control ward, you know.
So let's talk
Here
about
again, I open
deploy
up on mid.
again. Yeah, so you open up on mid, so you sprint around mid. Yep, giving you options.
A very simple reason for this: the bot wave is pushed out, so I don't have to be bot. Anytime, so there's like if you split the map diagonally in the middle, I call that the neutral line of the lane. Anytime the wave is past that point, you have a turn, because the enemies are on a timer. They're going to lose a lot of farm if they don't answer the bot lane. So you can
So
just
what's
do
the
anything
line?
on the map you
Can I
want.
draw the line here? Is it so you're talking
Like
about if the
through river,
waves
basically.
through
Through
river?
river.
So
Just like straight diagonally through. Yeah, like that.
like
Anytime
that.
the wave is past that point, and they have to catch it here. They don't have to catch it yet, but you have a move theoretically, because you're not losing much for being mid, and also if they don't answer bot soon, they're going to lose a lot. So you just have a timer, and it doesn't matter if you're losing farm right now. It's more important to be on mid.
So you're just happy to brute force something here. Just pop your R, bam, because they have to make a decision. Do I come and fight the Aatrox, or do I lose all the minions bot? That's what the decision you want them to make. Is that the idea?
Yeah, well, yeah, like either they're on the like because League is all about mid waves and mid game. So
Yep.
either they're
Mid
on the
wave's
mid
most important.
wave, or they're catching bot waves. So they have to make that choice, you know. Yeah. Usually tanks they like just skipping waves bot, so they'll group mid anyway in higher ranks, and that's good. But then they're on a timer, as I said, you know, because the wave will slowly push into their turret.
Yep, and then they'll lose minions.
Yeah. So this fight is also a good demonstration of how much I care about not dying. I am not eing in. I'm not doing anything. I'm just staring at them from
Mm,
the side. And if
mm.
the fight goes really well, I can clean up. And if it doesn't, I'm prioritizing my own life very highly.
Yeah, very disciplined patient here. You just didn't see a good angle there. I mean, fighting like under a tower like this just seems horrible for you, right? Like you don't want to do that,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah,
because
you
of Divya,
don't.
right? So you're just letting your
Yeah.
team rot. A lot of people would be eating Q right there. I'll say
Yeah.
every Aatrox will be doing that right now, Luca. Guarantee it.
Yeah. Yeah, so being very patient and controlled, and just realizing that as long as you never die, you'll always be on the curve of the game. Like if there's like an imaginary curve of the game in terms of XP and gold, you will always be even or ahead of that curve. And as long as you are, you will always be in a good spot to carry the game.
And if your team dies here, if you're alive, you just go push mid wave. They have to react to that, right? So they're not going to really get much in it. They're not going to be able to take your camps. They're not going to be able to break towers. So you're actually preventing them getting things, as well as like you're talking about there, like you're keeping up your experience in gold.
Yeah, I think yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And a lot of people in lower elos will feel threatened to do something because they're scared of getting flamed or blamed. you just have to realize that your team would much rather you 1v9 than you join a fight that's like potentially game losing, right? So
I
I
mean,
think
even here, Luca, do you think that you should have identified to leave sooner and got out? Like, do you reckon you could have run that direction and got to the mid wave and then rotated bot? Because now you're cut off. Or do you think that's not possible?
yeah, I could, but there's always a chance that there's still something to do. So I like lurking a little bit.
Lurking. Okay.
So like for example, this Anivia I could combo her if she doesn't have. Well, I mean, yeah, I just like lurking a little bit. I think that's good. But often, yeah, often a proper decision is just to instantly like go away from the fight and just push mid waves. So that often you can do that. So there I do like a Q flash, a little fancy combo there. But you can see I'm a complete menace when it comes to 1v1 and 1v2 and stuff. I'm really fucking strong. I'm level 15, 2 items. So no one can really fight me. But still, like 5v5s, I have to still be very patient, right? Because here again, I do jungle camps. I think this time is good because we're not looking to make a play on mid.
All the way bot. There's no play to be mid. I'm mid. Yep.
Yeah, it's a good timer to do it, and I don't care if my Zane is mad at me for taking camps. Like I'm the one who has to carry this game in my head. So do a little cheese here. This was a very risky play. Sometimes you can do cheese like that, but the problem is that you're neglecting the wave, and then you don't get a timer as fast as you normally would, which means that you can often be late on the mid wave.
I see. So yeah, it's a bit risky to leave the wave, let the wave shove in, trying to get the pick. But I guess death times are quite high at this stage of the game, so it is quite valuable to get that kill if you can, right? So that's why you're happy to do it.
Yeah, exactly. But not too often. Only if I like. It has to be quite calculated. Here I fell my E off the wall. Yeah, so now you can see I have 1400 gold. This is like the kind of the queue for me to start resetting soon. I do this. I think this doesn't go well. Yeah, I just get out.
And this seems like a bit of a nightmare champion for you as Aatrox.
Unless you're flanking.
Unless you're flanking,
and you,
like easy.
Because the thing is, dashes they're annoying, but high movement speed, that's what full take is for. You can slow them, and your W as well. So even if she has like a couple stuns, she doesn't have any dashes. So even if with phase rush, you can just alter her, and if you have a flank, it's so easy to just completely destroy her.
Let's talk about this thought process here, because again, you click mid, you go top, and then you sort of like reroute. Cogmore pings Dragon. So what are you thinking about here, Looca? What's going on? You're even pinging it now. What's the idea?
Can you go back? Like when I go out of base, I want to see like I should press tab here. Actually, don't fully remember. So, okay. So if I look at let's look at the state of the game. So Nash is up in 40, and the fourth Drake is up in 1. So they're basically spawning like roughly the same time. So it's much easier to play for Drake than it is for Nash because Nash deals more damage, right? Drake is just easier to
It's
fight
harder to commit to. It's a bigger committal. Baron's a bigger committal.
Exactly. So right now my thought process is this: we're stronger 5v5 and we want to fight. So where do we fight? Well, because of fourth Drake, we would rather do Drake because it's lower risk. But the problem is if Nash spawns a bit earlier than Drake. So if we are setting up Drake, if the enemy team is good, they can force Nash, they can start Nash, and then we're forced to answer that, and we have to walk into them rather than them walking to us. So what I want to do is I want to be kind of in between Drake and Nash. I want to be mid, because then you're in between the two. I want someone to ward the Nash so that we see that they're doing it if we're on Drake. And then I don't want to hit Drake myself, because me hitting Drake is pretty irrelevant. I hope I don't do that this game. I don't remember.
I think I see the thought process here. You're going top because you're seeing Drake as the next objective, and you have TP up, and you're happy to TP to the Drake. So why are you not going top here and TPing? Look at this for the TP play. Is that because it's ideal to get to the place first, as you said, to sort of get control of it? What's the thought process?
Yeah, the thought process here is that if I'm on the Drake 1 minute before it spawns, the enemies can never walk into us because I'm there. But if I'm top lane and they see me top lane on their minimap, they're going to be able to walk in, and then I'm going to have to like flip a fight with TP, which fighting with TP is often not good because first of all, you're not there when the fight starts, and also like it's a visual cue for them to know where you're going to be.
It's not threatening. There's not that flank threat and playing Fog of War and Vision.
Yeah,
This is very
exactly.
cool.
Like,
I love this. I love this. A lot of people would be panicking, hitting bot wave or whatever, but you're like, again, you're just going to stand here and just wait for them to just go for the Drake.
yeah,
Walk in
as
here.
long as the waves are pushed out, I don't have a reason to go there because I don't want the enemies to have a numbers advantage.
Yeah. And again, you're the
Now
strongest member here, so you got to put your body. You got to put your body on the map here. You can't just be
yeah,
hitting minions. I feel like this is again
exactly.
another really big point, Looca, where a lot of people would misplay, and they would have like
Yeah,
gone top and then looked to TP back bot or whatever. So actually,
yeah, and
are
it's
going to get
simply
this Baron
fine.
here. Well played to them.
Yeah, so this is what happens in like high-elo games. They just realize that we want to play for Drake, so they're gonna trade the objective. Um, so now we're kind of like salvaging the play a little bit. We should have been contesting that much better. But yeah, we end up salvaging it pretty well, I would say. We get a couple kills, and then we get Drake as well. But yeah, it sucks that they get Nash. But yeah, just to finish up the previous point, I think that if Drake is very close to spawning and you have TP up, don't be afraid to just group at Drake and then TP back top, for example. Like
Catch the
that's a
wave
very good
top.
play.
Do it the reverse. Yeah.
Yeah, like especially if the wave top is like already pushed out, you don't have to go top. But if the wave is like neutral or pushing into you, then you can still like I mean you can catch one wave, but as long as you're on the mid wave, like 30 seconds before Drake spawns, and then you're around Drake as it's spawning, you should be in a good spot. Um, so yeah, it's like a mental priority list. Like if you're strong, you want to be on the objective as soon as you can, basically. You don't want to go on side too much because anytime you're on side, the enemies can create a numbers advantage somehow.
Yeah, so this VOD is definitely demonstrating a lot of things about how to close out games and impact the map when you're ahead as Aatrox. Again, a very big question that we always get in coaching is how do I close out the game where I'm ahead? I feel like, or maybe this is a top lane narrative. People say top lane has no impact. Top lane, worst role in the game on an island.
Top lane impact is all jungle and support diff.
Yeah.
No, but it really depends on your champion mastery and your champion pool as well, I think, and of course your game knowledge. But like this game, like in a different game, I could be playing equally well, but still be useless because my champion just doesn't function well into the enemy team comp, and that's why I like adapting my pick to like fill in the gaps when I play solo queue. I just pick whatever's good. And this game, Aatrox, I had a good matchup, and also the enemy team was low DPS, low mobility, so it's a perfect Aatrox game. Okay, so here uh, let's see. I don't go
There's no
top here
objective up
because
here. So there's no objective up here.
yeah, we don't have Nash, which really sucks because it's hard to progress the game without Nash against like a Nivea. It's like a high wave clear champion. Generally speaking, you don't want to like make the game too big. You want to play 2 lanes rather than 3. But against Anivia, you can play 3 lanes because if you're playing 2 lanes, it's easier for her to be in between the two and just wave clear.
So you're
Because
really looking at this fight a lot to TP. This feels like a very awkward fight for you. Oh, never mind.
yeah,
We get the flank. Never
yeah,
mind.
and then yeah, really OP. Really holding on to my flash as well here a little bit. So here's a combo where you do QE flash, so you get maximum distance. And you see, I'm really OP because I'm just cleaning up the fight. As soon as their carries are dead, no one can really kill me anymore.
Yeah.
So that's like the highest priority as Aatrox is just to killing the highest damage enemies, like the highest DPS characters. Because after they're dead, no one can really fuck with you anymore.
Yep. So again, demonstrating the champ identity. Flanking equals very, 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 very good.
Yeah, can you go back to the moment ITP? I think because
Sure.
my philosophy on this is I have like pretty clear philosophy. I always look for so when it comes to TPing, you have to realize that by TPing you're missing something else on the map. Like right here, if I don't TP, I could be hitting the tower, for example, soon. So there's a trade-off, right? The problem with TP is that it's a massive visual cue, and enemies have no reason not to just right-click away when you TP, right? They can just right-click out, and then you just wasted your teleport. So the cue for TPing is commitment. The moment the enemies have committed and you know that they're using their mobility spells to go in, that's when you want to TP. So I'm looking for a position for the enemies to be in where they cannot get out even if they want to after I teleport, right? Often this will be like a Tristana W, a Nefiri ult, it doesn't matter, like an Urgot E, like any champion that has one way out, if they use that to get in, then I want TP. And it's really, really important because a lot of people just TP too early or too late. And another thing is camera placement. Like you will want to hit your wave with as your camera is looking at the fight. The more you can see the fight, the better because you know whose abilities are down. whose abilities are up, like who's using flash, how's the fight going. So
Mm.
after in between each Q, I'm like pressing my F keys to see how the fight's going. And here I'm just being very patient. Like right now, if I TP, they can just right click out, as you can see. But now it's like Sion's ulting, the Fear's ulting. Here I'm like, okay, it's go time. And this decision was that there's so many, like it looks very simple, but there's actually a lot going
Game
on in my
winning.
head.
You could have stuffed that up so easily, right? Like if you could have done that, if you TP probably maybe 1.5 seconds too early, then they probably would be able to react and then
Just
probably
right
would
click
just
out,
back
yeah.
off.
And my TP is down now, and then maybe Sion has TP up, and then he has TP advantage, and then I can't go side anymore, and it's just fucked, right? So it's such an important skill to have, like TP usage, and like a lot of students, I just review like how they use their TPs, and there's so many mistakes, and it often stems from not watching the fight enough with their camera. So the camera placement is often very, very off. Yeah. So now, I mean, at this point, I'm like no one can do anything to me. As long as I'm in every single fight, we should be in a unlosable position. The only way we lose is if I'm just like on side lane, even though I'm stronger. I should be in every fight.
So this is your 3-item massive power spike, yeah, that you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. With Serradas, oh my god, you're so strong. It's so fun to play Aatrox with this item. So here I choose not to recall, even though I have so much gold, and the reason is, I think my team was like looking to extend the plays on the map. This is very awkward.
He's on
It looks like I'm very
4
squishy.
second cooldown at this point.
Sorry?
Your E is on a 4 second cooldown, I think, at this point. You like zip around the map. You get a lot of value, I guess, of leveling up that E.
Yeah. And the Shojin, yeah, it's very nice. I think I end up dying here because the Fury,
Wow.
high mobility, high damage champion, right?
Cheers healing reduction as well.
Yeah. Like these champions who like are sticking onto you, because you can't hit your Qs that way. It's just the worst. That's also
Guys,
why
let's
I
talk
think
about this deploy. Sorry, what were you going to say, Looca?
Yeah, last thing I was just gonna say, like that's why I think attack speed rune is really nice to have, because champions who like stick onto you, you can kind of like auto attack them down a little bit.
So let's talk about this deploy. You don't have TP. Baron's coming up. Is your mindset once again, I want to get to the area of the map before the objective spawns so I can get control and force him to walk into me and face check?
100%. I just want to be near the objective. Me being bot runner, what does that do? It gives the enemies more leverage to like take control of the objective, like take vision, take inside position. I just want to be like, I'm positioning myself between mid and top. Anyone who face checks is just gonna get blown up. And yeah, I'm just on this mid wave. So there's a fight, I create an angle. Tristana just gets interrupted. You can see my W usage as well. Like the guy is 100% dead on my screen already, so I'm Wing someone else. Like I don't fully commit every ability. I'm like kind of dividing my abilities between the targets, which end up forcing Sion's ult. Yeah, I think I had a very good position in that fight. Like I was kind of between the front and the back line of the enemies.
So it's like the last fight of the game.
Yeah.
So once again, using sweeper, you're not showing. You're preparing a flank. They use all their abilities. So this is a flank. I mean, it's just as simple as it is, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm not committing too hard on the Trist, because if I use all my spells on Trist, the other guys can hit me and I can't hit them back, or I can't E out. So I'm playing very slow, very controlled. Yeah. No, I think we end here. Yeah. This is a very nice game for Aatrox.
All right. Any final comments around what you about this VOD, or what Aatrox players can take away from this VOD?
Yeah, I think when you play Aatrox, you just have to prioritize like your own life a lot, and kind of the mindset you should have is, if it's a good game for Aatrox, you should play very low risk, and if it's a like kind of a harder game for Aatrox, you should play higher risk. And what I mean with that is like building more aggressive items, or doing more aggressive trades, or like going a bit crazier in lane with all-ins and stuff. But if like, yeah, just mainly if it's a good game for Aatrox, don't be afraid to just take small wins left and right until you're very strong, and then just join all the fights and be a complete beast, and try to flank.
All right, great stuff. Let's move on. Okay, this section here, Looca, we're going to be doing a lane matchup tier list for Aatrox. What are your hard matchups? What are easy matchups? We've broken it down into 4 categories: very hard, hard, medium, and easy. So nice and simple.
Yeah.
So let's start basically from top to bottom. What do you think, Looca? We'll just go through it like that.
Yeah, just go one by one. So okay, so we have Akali first. I would say Akali's hard because it's very hard to land your Qs, and also she kind of outscales you both on side lane, and I think her all-in potential on you whenever the wave is like on her side is very, very high. She just presses ult. Most Akalis just go ignite TP and just run you down. So yeah, I would say Akali is a pretty hard one. Camille, I would say medium. I think Camille is a very interesting one because Camille wins early, level 1 to 3. She gets push and she wins the matchup. But once you hit level 4, until her Triforce, you're just fully winning. And the reason is, anytime she's walking out for a last hit, you can just Q her face and she can't trade back on you. You can easily dodge her W with your E. You can easily dodge her E with your E if you're not too close to the wall. So Camille is a very easy matchup to play in lane until she has Triforce. And usually you're winning very hard in terms of farm. So her Triforce will be delayed if you play properly. But because she does outscale with 1 or 2 items, I would say Camille's medium and not easy.
Cho'Gath?
Cho'Gath is just easy. I think he's just a very beefy target that you can do the same thing as Sion, where you're standing on the side of the wave, and then he either misses farm or he tries to, well, either he Qs you and then you can dodge it with E, or he can walk up and auto attack the minions and then you can trade on him, or he's gonna lose mana by queuing the wave. And he can never really get onto you. And also, I think that because he has lack of mobility, it's so easy to just find trade with QW combos. So yeah, I would say this. And I also think you just outscale him on side, so it's an easy matchup, I would say.
Do you want to also talk about whether you'll take because you talked about the importance of knowing when to go Doran's Blade versus Doran's Shield. So Cho'Gath would be Doran's Blade. Camille would be.
I would say Camille would be D Blade as well, because you're more like all-in heavy in that matchup. Akali would be D Shield.
And D Shield, against the thought process around that is.
Well, Akali is a champion that wants to like poke you down a little bit and then just fully all in you. And I think because her trades are like in increments, right? She Qs you, walks away, Qs you. You'll get a lot of value from your D shield, and also you will never be able to all in her anyway because she just fully. If she all ins you, you will not be able to hit her anyway. So yeah, I think just this matchup is a lot about just like staying as high HP as possible, and I think D shield is very, very good for that.
Darius?
Also, maybe talk about the runes, what runes should go. I think all of these 3 should be Conk.
Kokora, okay. Darius now.
Yeah, Darius, you go Conk, and I think he is a hard matchup. Actually, no, I'll put him in medium. Well, it depends on. I think lower elo is probably hard, but higher elo medium. But since this is for like Emerald, around that is like hard, I would say.
Okay, let's put it in hard. Okay, so why do people struggle against Darius as Aatrox, you feel?
I think it's mostly understanding wave states, and if you understand wave states, this matchup is a lot easier. But if you don't, then it's going to be harder. And the reason I think it's somewhat hard is because anytime he wants to all-in you and he has Ghost and Flash up and you're both full HP and the wave is on his side, he just has a lot of room to just run you down. The way you want to approach this matchup is literally to just do one trade where he's at 70% health, and if he's around that HP, you're fine because you can your all in, your short trade is much stronger than his short trade, right? So if he's a little bit low, you can start just playing aggressively. But a lot of people struggle with getting him low in the first place because they're very scared. A lot of people respect Darius too much, and they're not good at knowing when to trade and stuff. So yeah, it's just Darius is one of the champs that's very easy to punish players who are not too familiar with like wave states and level up timers and stuff.
Fiora, we talked about that one where I think you get is that a hard or a very hard one?
Yeah, I would say it's very hard. You don't win early, you don't win late, you don't win mid game. She
You
has
can't
a
hit
lot of
Qs. You just can't hit Qs on her, right?
yeah, she has too much mobility and she has too much counterplay with her parry. Aatrox's Qs and W, like especially the W, is very predictable and it's very easy to parry and just stun you. The way I like to approach this matchup is to just play safe early, and then I like to buy Bramble Vest and like Tabis, and that's just purely because you're stronger from that point until she has like 1.5 items or like 2 items, and you have a bit of a like window inside of the game where you can actually play aggressively even though you get outscaled, right? So you get outscaled anyway, so I'd like to go this setup so that at least I have some way of fighting back. And of course, later on it will still be horror. But yeah, this matchup is just completely almost unplayable, I would say.
Gangplank.
Gangplank, I'll put him in medium. This matchup used to be easy, but I think Aatrox is in a very weak spot right now. And the thing is, you'll like the common thing amongst the easy matches will be that the enemy champion has bad all in and like very low mobility. GP falls on that category, right? He's like pretty poor all in and pretty low mobility. So, but the problem is at some point when GP has like Sheen pickaxe, he will just start one-shotting waves and like ulting waves, and you'll never find a trade on him because he's gonna play really safe. Um, so I think the matchup is pretty good overall, but because he is pretty safe and he outscales you as well, I think it's medium and not easy.
Garen. Very popular champion in the lower ranks.
I actually think Garen's hard. I struggle against Garen because the champ is like actually quite mobile, with especially with phase rush. He can kind of like ignore you on side lane and just like kill your wave and run away. And once he has like 1 or 2 items, like again, Aatrox sucks against champs that just stick onto him like glue, you know. And Garen does that. He just auto Q ease you, and it's like cutting
Super
away
fast
from
with
you.
phase rush. He's got the kill threat with ignite and R, like the
Yeah,
heal reduction. It seems
yeah.
like quite a good matchup for Garen.
Yeah, and it's hard to hit your Qs. Like if you end up comboing him, he just Ws, gets like so much resistances, and then you don't do any damage with your combo. There's a hard matchup.
Nah.
Yeah, I think Nar is a medium matchup. I would say medium to hard. I think he's in between actually. I would say he's hard though. Let's just do hard. It depends on your mastery on Aatrox a little bit as well. If you're good on Aatrox, he should be medium, but for any like more beginner Aatrox player, it's definitely hard. Any range matchup is hard because you rely so much on them fucking up. Because you will like because the range is hard to hit your abilities, right? Just makes sense. And then Nar's like anytime he has Mega Nar, he just jumps on you, does ult QW and walks away, and then you're like half HP, and now what? Like you're just in a bad spot, right? And also he outscales pretty hard on side lane later on, so I think he's hard.
Doran shield for all matchups, range matchups.
Yeah. Every range matchup should be D shield.
Yeah, and Garen is. Did you mention is it D blade or D shield?
I'd say D blade because your trades are more all in focused, like very long trades. You go conk as well. I guess Nara would go electrocute. Yeah,
Alawi.
yeah. I'd say Alawi is hard. The reason Lau is hard is because in laning phase, Aatrox stands still when he Qs, and it's easy for her to hit
Easy
to
to hit
E.
to E, and if Alawi hits E's, she doesn't lose lane. Is pretty much
Yeah,
right the way it works.
yeah. So, and also, like, if you're even in game, even if she's a little bit behind, I would still say she wins side lane because she just one shots the wave, and then again, she hits 1 E and just ults you, and you're at 30% health, and now, even though her ult is down, you too low to contest her. So, I think this matchup is just very hard, and you have to be very smart.
Doran shield or Doran blade?
I'd go D Blade because again her damage is not in increments. She deals a lot of damage each time. I would say because realistically you can just dodge her Qs with your E, or if she's in W range and autos you, you can just fully trade on her. So yeah, D Blade.
Aurelia.
Yeah, Aurelia is very hard. I think most Aatrox players ban Aurelia over Fiora even. The reason is Aurelia just goes a very aggressive setup. She just dashes onto you. Anytime the wave's frozen, she just straight up kills you. because again, champions that have high DPS, high mobility, completely destroy you. Aurelia is a perfect example.
Jax.
I think Jax is medium. I think right now Jax is in a very awkward spot. He lost. I don't know why, but he lost so much DPS. He's a very like bursty trade champion right now. And there's a like kind of a mechanic that you need to understand about this matchup in order to win it. You have to space his E range, and every single time he jumps on you with Q, you literally have to have your W up. You press W, and then you walk away, and then he will always get pulled back. And then it's so easy to just hit your Qs whenever he last hits. So this matchup is just again, it's pretty wave. Like you need to have a good understanding of the wave. But generally speaking, like Jax, especially before Triforce, is not actually a threat. It's actually quite easy to win lane. But yeah, I think he's not as strong as like Fiora really, for sure.
Jace.
Yeah, I'd say Jace is hard. He's not very hard, but he's definitely hard. I'd put him at like the top of hard. The problem with Jace is that if the player is good, they will just do a trade on you, E you away, and then just walk away, and you cannot really trade back. And then if they do this enough times, you're like low HP, you're gonna just suffer, right? So I think Jace is very hard.
Doran Blade or D Shield?
I'll go D Shield.
Kayle, D Shield.
Yeah, Kayle D Shield, and I would say she's I'd say she's medium. The only reason
So
I
like
think she's
lane versus like overall game, like can you threaten Kayle? Like once she gets like, I mean, also level 16's Kale's a thing, right? But I guess it's a lane matchup tier list, right? But how would you differentiate the lane versus sort of the mid game versus Kayle?
I think any matchup where you have early wave control and you are a threat to them, like early game, I think Aatrox wins against Kayle like early, like especially level 3 to 6, maybe even level 3 to 9. He's pretty strong against Kayle. Any matchup that goes like that is pretty favorable for Aatrox because if you're good and at setting up ganks and stuff, you can just completely destroy this guy. If you're good at like wave management, right? So I think the matchup is not easy, but it's definitely more playable than a matchup like Jace or Gnar or the others.
Kennen, another range champion. I assume Doran Shield.
This is D Shield matchup, and I would say this is a hard matchup because Cannon just has a lot more mobility than the other range champs.
Kled.
Kled is, I think Kled is medium or easy. I think it's medium. It's just, I think it's Aatrox's favorite. Yeah, let's say medium. Yeah, let's say medium. And the reason is, once you have a little bit of armor against Kled, he just like Kled is one of the champs that has only one type of damage. No true damage, no AP, just armor, just AD. I mean, and no health scaling AD either. So the champ is in reality quite weak when you start building properly. So any like all in you do with both full HP and you have a little bit of armor, you just win.
I don't know where Lily is here. We're gonna put her on the bottom.
Yeah.
Malphite.
Malphite easy as fuck. Like, it's very easy. Like
Yeah,
you go
just again
shield.
sort of fit in this category. Low mobility, tanky. They don't have much threat on you. They can't like out damage your healing as the game goes on. You get your 3-item spike.
Yeah.
Maokai, I don't really play in top lane much on your
same. Easy. Wukong is easy as well. Actually, no, medium. I would say medium. Yeah, I think Wukong's just in a bad spot though. So
yeah.
Mordekaiser,
bit of a popular
medium. I would say
medium. What makes him medium?
I would say medium because the champion is very one-dimensional. The way he damages you is just by being on top of you, but he has no dashes. He needs to hit his E in order to do anything. So you can just hold your E for when he has his E, and you can just easily dodge it always. And whenever he ults you, you can just press your R and kite. So I think if you get one good trade in this matchup, and he's low, like it's just unplayable for him. So, yeah.
Nasus.
Yeah, Nasus I would say is medium. The thing is, Nasus is the same as Kayle, right? They're just scaling champions who are like a bit weaker early, and you can punish them a little bit. But once they get their item and the levels, they just destroy you on side lane because they just walk all over you. So this is a easier lane, like before first item, but harder after.
So Kayle is Doran's shield. Is that Doran's blade and Doran's blade for Nasus and Mordekaiser?
I'd say they're both D shield as well, because Mortis damage is pretty, like his Qs are like pretty low cooldown, and his E's as well. So you can get kind of, yeah. I mean, you don't win all-ins against Mortar even if you have D-Blade, right? Because his all-in is better than yours, but your short range is better. And if the Nas is good, he just does 3 points into E and just like kind of pokes you down with it.
Yeah.
So I would
So
go
you need to
like,
go D shield to the poke.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Ornn. We talked a little bit about Ornn before.
I'd say medium. The problem with Ornn is that the trading pattern is a bit clunky, and good Orns will just like buy Bramble Vest and then just like kind of, once you're 50% HP and they hit one Q, they're gonna like full combo you. They're gonna like Q ult, E, whatever. But it's hard to trade into him because if you end up Eing into him or something, he's just gonna QW auto you. And if they have some armor, then they're gonna deal damage to you, but you're not gonna deal damage to them. So it's a pretty tough one.
Poppy.
Poppy is, I think I'd say Poppy is medium as well. He's just a neutralizing champion. Like, yeah, you just do simple trades. She can't do much to you. You can't do much to her.
Doran's Blade.
I'd say D shield because her autos and her Qs. And you can never really find an all-in angle against her. I would say it's just a lot of trading.
Quinn.
I would say Quinn is hard, but she's not very hard. The reason is Quinn often like Quinn is a range champion, but she has very limited mobility in my opinion. If her E is ever down, like you hit one Q on her, you hit your W because you hit your Q, and then she's just completely fucked. All you need is one good trade in this matchup, or like one gank, and if you have a little bit of a lead, she's just completely out of it.
Renekton.
I would say Renekton's hard. Yeah, I'd say Renekton's hard because Renekton just has this champion sticks onto you like glue, and his all-in is better than yours, and his short rate's also better than yours. So it's a skill matchup, but it's Renekton favorite for sure.
So Dorans.
Let's go D shield. Again, any champ that trades a lot, and like any champ that wants to all in you, if you're full HP and you have to fight back, you go D blade. Any champion that's just trading a shit ton is D shield, in my opinion.
Riven.
Yeah, so Riven would be, Riven would be a D blade and very hard. I'd say Riven is very hard, yeah, because her short trades are superior because when she trades, she just gets out and you can't hit her abilities because of her like stun and her mobility, right? She sticks onto you like glue. Her all-ins are better. She has early wave prio. She scales better. Yeah, just hard to play against. So I would go D blade into Riven.
Rumble.
Yeah, Rumble is hard. Actually, is he hard?
Two different sides of the spectrum here. You're literally weighing up easy or hard. It depends on the skill level? Is that why you're taking time to think about potentially the?
I mean, I'm thinking about my own experience from both sides of the matchup. If I'm playing Aatrox, it's pretty hard, and if I'm playing Rumble, it's like not that hard. But again, I think Aatrox just outscales. Does he? I mean, I would say the matchup's hard actually. I'd say the matchup is hard, and yeah, okay, yeah, I would say it's hard. I think Rumble just has such a strong, like, Rumble players will go ignite, they will poke you down, and they'll like use their early power to like snowball the matchup basically. Yeah, I think Rumble's hard because they just run ignite and just like, if they're good at managing their fury, anytime you're looking for a trade, they're gonna E auto Q you and just kill you, right? So yeah. Set, I would say Set is actually easy. The reason I think Set's easy because it's very low mobility. His damage is extremely conditional. He needs to be on top of you, but it's hard for him to get on top of you because you have more range than him. And once you have a little bit of armor, it's so easy to just like fight him, and you just go Tabis in this matchup, for example, and you just like completely destroy him.
I assume Shen in the easy section. You can cancel his
Actually,
ults.
no.
You can hit him.
No,
Okay,
actually,
interesting.
no. It's funny because Shen is actually really strong against Aatrox, and I would put him at the top of medium. The only reason I put him not that hard is because I think most Shen players are too scared to play aggressively. Because if you miss your E, you're kind of in a bad spot. But a good Shen player is actually really, really hard to play against. The reason is Shen level 1 is one of the strongest champs in the game, and also like his trades are so strong. Like if he E's you, and usually they go Flash Ignite as well. early game, as I said, Aatrox is very weak. Shen just E's on top of you, autos you twice, runs away, and then also he has W for your passive auto. So Shen is actually very strong as Aatrox.
Singed.
Singed is hard. The reason is Singed just doesn't lane against you. he just gets proxies and he's just like, yeah, good luck. How are you gonna hit your Qs? That's a mystery. Like you have to predict his E and like Q behind you, and then he flips himself into it. Yeah, Singed is like hard in the sense that you're not really, you're like it's outscaling you, and you're not really interacting with him.
Is Doran's shield useful versus him, or it would just be Doran's blade, I assume?
I would go
Or...
D blade, yeah.
Yeah.
Because again, the trades are like very all in.
Sion, we just did a VOD review
Easy.
of that. Nice and easy. Sylas
yeah.
top lane, don't really see that
Sylas,
much.
I mean, yeah, we don't have to put him in this tier list. I don't think. Teemo is very. Teemo's hard. Actually, but a bad Teemo is easy to play against. See, this is the problem. If I think about like a bad Teemo, like you can just you can for free hit your QW, Q, auto Q stuff, like one combo, he doesn't have that much mobility. But if he stands like on the side of the wave and his movement is good and he's like rushing Swifties, then it's unplayable. So I would put him in hard just because like if he has Swifties, like you just fully lose.
Trinimir.
Trinimir is hard. He's not very hard though, but he's hard. The reason is he just sticks onto you again, right? He just sticks onto you. If he has one lead, he can just destroy you on side lane. But yeah, he's not as bad as the others.
Urgot.
Urgot's medium. I think Aatrox wins like from level 4 to 9. Level 4 to, well, yeah, Aatrox wins from level 4 to like 1 or 2 items. And Urgot has a hard time getting onto Aatrox. He needs to hit his Q for slow first.
Vayne, the fabled Vayne Aatrox matchup. People like to pick Vayne into Aatrox all the time. What is your experience playing against Vayne? You said you have your Edge of Night electrocute technology.
Yeah, I think any average Aatrox player against any average Vayne player is a hard matchup, but not for me. Like I can manage really well into Vayne. So I'll put it hard, but at higher rank, if you're really good and you know what you're doing, it's not a hard matchup.
Wow, okay. So a lot of people will be like, Looca, you're psychopathic. I ban Vayne and Vayne's in very hard.
Yeah, I mean, no, she's not. Just go Edge of Night, just go sweepers, just buy control wards, and you're completely fine.
Vlad.
I was with Vlad at medium. Yeah, he's medium for sure. It is a
very... because you can just neutralize and you can do that more Memorious build?
Yeah, you can. Yeah, he can never really all in you. The problem is that if a good, like again, good Vlads will just rush Swifties and you can never land your combo on him again. Because if you like Q him and then hit your W, he's just gonna run out of it because it's just not, the slow is not enough.
Volibear, you played a lot of Volibear Looca recently.
Yeah, Volibear is easy for Aatrox because the champion cannot get onto you. Yeah, he has no way to get onto you. He's pretty beefy, stanky champion. So if you don't let him get onto you by any like weird angles, then you're gonna be fine.
Yasuo top lane. He has a lot of mobility. He can move through the wave.
I'd say medium. Yeah, medium. But Yasuo's mobility is pretty conditional. He has to be inside of your wave to have mobility. Also, I think that again, like once you have a little bit of armor, this champ has no percentage damage, no magic damage. He's just like an 80 champion. So as long as you build like Tabis, you're gonna win from that point on because one good trade and this guy just cannot play.
Yone.
I'd say Yone is hard, but he could be very hard as well. It depends. Like it needs to be regular Yone though. I think it's hard. Not very hard. He's just hard. The reason he's hard is because he just has so much. Like again, he sticks onto you, high mobility, high DPS. But he's a bit easier to play against the lane because Yone players want to do so much that they're shooting themselves in the foot and they're giving you trade angles by looking for too many things. I think they tend to be less disciplined than Riven players, even though they can play the same if they want to.
Yorick.
Yorick is. I think Yorik's hard. I mean, again, like these, like if he hits his E, like you do your Q, you're standing still, he's gonna hit his E. If your E is down and he Ws you, you have to like auto attack the cage to get out, and you can never hit Ws because his maiden's in the way. It's just a very annoying matchup.
Cassante, we don't see much popular in solo queue. I think he's like one of the lowest win rate top laners, right, in solo queue currently.
Yeah. He's hard. He's hard, even though you would think that's easy, but Cassandra is just so fucking broken in lane. Like his stats are just he stat checks everyone. It's completely absurd. And if he ults you, you just lose. So yeah, Cassandra's hard.
And new champion Bessa.
Yeah, and Bessa is either hard or very hard. I would put it hard right now. Yeah, she's hard because again she sticks onto you. She has better side laning, more damage. She's just a better version of Aatrox without the knockups, you know.
Aurora.
Aurora's hard for sure. I mean, she's insane level 1 damage. Like she was just like she'll win level 1 to 3 so hard that you're either losing like 12 CS in the first 2 waves, or you lose a lot of HP and you're forced to base TP very early on. Aurora with like electrocute is just so fucking broken. And then later on, if you want to kill her, she's very slippery as well.
Nidalee top lane's a bit of like a flavor of the month thing at the moment. Have you experienced this much? Have you played this in solo queue?
I have like a couple years ago, and it was unplayable as fuck. It's for sure hard. Actually, maybe very hard, because think about it. Nidalee has so much poke, and she has so much mobility, right? So she would just auto you, and then just W jump away. You can never hit a spell onto her. So it's like the worst range matchups in the game. I think, yeah.
Olaf.
Olaf. I think Olaf is medium. A lot of people struggle into Olaf as Aatrox, but you just need to get one good trade, and then he can never all-in you again. This is a matchup where I like to go Flash Ignite and D-Blade setup. Even though he gets the first crash, because you have to play safe early, after you have like some damage items, a little bit of HP, this guy, again, like one good trade, and then it's just over. You just win the matchup.
Pantheon top lane.
I'd say Pantheon's either medium or hard. Yeah, the thing is, if I'm playing as Pantheon top these days, I'm playing as Spear Shot, which is obviously going to be hard because it's like the best Pantheon in the world, basically. But I think the average Aatrox player is just medium. But you need good spacing. Like you need to be able to kind of space the Qs a little bit. But yeah, I would say like you win all-ins because you have a combat ult and Pantheon doesn't have one. So I'd say medium.
Gragas top lane.
I'd say Gragas is easy. Again, pretty immobile, pretty like low damage. Any matchup where you get early prio, you are usually in a good spot because you dictate kind of how the lane goes. Yeah, I think Gragas is easy.
Would you go Dorans shield against Gragas? Like he's looking to poke you, right? Like
yeah.
D shield. You don't go to all in D shield, yeah. Gwen.
Gwen is gonna be actually this is a very hard one to call. I've played Aatrox into Gwen and I destroy her, and I've played Gwen into Aatrox and I destroy. I think in lane Aatrox has a slight favor, but in side lane later on, like 2 items Gwen will just run over the Aatrox because she's very sticky, right? I would say it's a medium matchup. Yeah, I would say it's medium. Trundle. I would say it's easy because very, very immobile, very easy to hit your spells in this guy. He cannot really all-in you when you have your E and ult up. It's easy.
I assume Warwick is the same?
No. Well,
I mean, Warwick is just like really strong laner in general, right? He goes with the whole barrier thing, like he likes long trades.
Yeah, the problem with Warwick is that he's basically like, even if he's low and you have your combo up and you hit everything, he can like get out of your combo with his Q because it's unstoppable. He's like queuing minions and stuff, or like queuing you. So this matchup I would say is medium, but only because Warwick's like stats are just so insane right now. Like his healing and like I would just say he's medium.
And last one, Mundo.
Why is it? Well, I'm tripping. I saw Aloys's face in that moon. I'm not even joking. I saw Aloys's face in that mundo. I was like, why is Aloys's face photoshopped in that mundo? And I realized it's not. What the fuck?
That's scary.
It's because of the cosplay, man. Yeah, so I would put Mundo in. I mean, honestly, I would put him in easy. I think you win until maybe when he has like 2 items, he starts winning. But before that point, is really, really, really free.
Would Aloys disagree with you here?
Maybe. I mean, I don't think so. No, I think Aatrox is just hard wins against Mundo. Like, think about it. If you're selling your wave and anytime he goes for last hit, you just Q him. He can't retrade back. So yeah, I think it's easy.
Right, you happy with this list? Anything you'll change?
Let me just double check. Shen. I think some people would disagree on Kale or Jax, but I mean, from my experience, these matchups are not actually pretty good, like pretty playable. And the rest, yeah,
They'll go in hard. People would put them in hard.
Yeah. I'm happy with that list.
Okay. Okay, let's move on to our Emerald player review now. Applying everything we've learned so far that Looca has taught us about Aatrox.
Let's do it.
All right, so Looca, we're going to start with an OPGG for El Clapador here. Purely found this guy, random, off the leaderboard ladder. He is an Aatrox, basically sort of one trick, I guess, at the moment, or that's his Aatrox main. He's doing quite well, 60% win rate. He's currently Emerald 4, 95 wins, 75 losses, but he's sort of been around Gold, Platinum. It looks like he's sort of like, he has been Emerald 4 back in season 2023. He has peaked at Emerald 3, but looks like he's hopping between Emerald 4 and Emerald 3, so this is maybe, dipping a little bit. So, what are some first things you sort of see here, talking about his build? He likes the Ignite.
Yeah, he definitely likes Ignite. Yeah, if you can just go to, yeah. I'm noticing that he's building Shojin and Thunder Sky in a lot of games. He's building both.
What's the problem with that?
I think you're building too much HP, and you're not building enough damage. Also, in a lot of games, like this one, for example, look at the enemy comp. Who are you focusing in fights, realistically? You're focusing Mel, Caitlyn, and Sona, right? Because most likely you're going to want to flank. Well, like it's much better to have Voltaic because of the slow, right? And more damage. You're getting a little bit more damage than Thunder Sky. So already the mistake here is like you either buy Thunder or Shojin usually, but you never buy. Well, you almost never buy both.
Just a little thing. He's going double HP here. Is that an accident? No, he goes at every game. This guy loves health. What's going on here? He loves
Apparently,
health.
He's obsessed with health. Yeah, I think it's not necessary to go so much HP scaling. What makes Aatrox strong is that your HP comes from your healing, right? You're healing a lot when you damage people. So whether you have 3,000 or 2,500 HP, you're healing the same amount, right? So the more damage you have, the more you're going to heal up. So therefore, having high HP bar is not that important in a lot of games. Of course, you want maybe 1 HP item, but I think 2 is a bit overkill.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, even look at this one here. I feel like this guy just runs around doing no damage, like this game here, right? He's got, Sojin, Thunder Sky, Sterax, right? Like this guy's just going to be just doing negative damage.
Yeah, this is a game where I would go Thunder Sky into Voltaic, into, depending on who's fed, I either go Maul or Death Stance, because like Sorales is
why
good,
skip
but
Grudge? Why skip Grudge?
Yeah, they have very, very low, like, they have no frontline. They have no, like, 0 tanks, right? They don't have a Vi, they don't have anyone who's like somewhat tanky. They have high damage characters, right? So you need a little bit of survivability, and the best form of survivability would be damage items that are also survivability based a little bit. So yeah, third item, let's go Death Dance or Maw, depending who's fed. Often you can just go Death, or sometimes you can go Hex Drinker and then just rush Death Dance and don't finish the Maw yet.
Do you ever go Revitalize on this champion?
I don't, because I think it's too low value. Like 10% is not that much, I feel. Maybe like on 4 or 5 items it is, but
yeah. Looca, he's breaking the #1 sin you've said with mid-game Aatrox. Where's his sweet red sweeper trinket?
Yeah, he doesn't
How does
buy
he flank?
He's not flanking. He's most likely not even he's probably not flanking.
Any control wards?
Nope.
No control ward. So this guy doesn't build a single control ward here, Looca, or a red sweeper trinket, right? So, you know, we're talking about your sweep. He does have a pretty good win rate, but, you know, I think getting to that next level, you know, I think he's just going to have really, you know, inconsistent, potentially Aatrox games.
Yeah, I'm assuming this guy is good mechanically, but his decision making can be a bit shaky sometimes.
All right. Anything else to comment before we jump into his game?
I mean, he does not ever go electrocute, even against like a Vladimir. I think that's something you can look at. Yeah, I mean, I think his setup is just very odd. That's it, really.
All right, let's get into the details now, Looca. Let's go. Let's see his gameplay.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so Looca, this game we're against a Set. Now, you put Set in the easy matchup section, I believe, because you said he's very predictable.
Yeah.
Let's take a look here. So he's set up here. Anything you'll change here with runes? He's going his double health thing. We obviously established that. We don't want double health.
Yeah, I think just scaling health and yeah, just adaptive.
And the rest of this is fine.
Yeah, the rest is good. Bone plating very good in intercept.
All right.
And then
so
D-blade, good.
D-blade good. Happy with that. And where would you walk out of base here? Would you defend for the invade? Would you go into the lane brush?
Yeah, I would defend against the invade in this matchup. If I go into the bush and he also goes into the bush, he'll just push me out. He wins.
So he could be in here right now, and he could just get pushed out right now, right?
I mean, the top bush. Yeah. If he's late to that bush, yeah, he can. But before 1 minute 5 seconds, you can still reset. So even if you get a little bit traded on, it's fine sometimes.
Okay, so he's doing a very defensive, protecting his jungler.
Looks like he's leashing, actually. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. He already made a mistake. He should start in lane, because he can get cheesed.
So this is good. It looks like he's prioritizing the farm.
Yeah. Good trading.
Okay.
Set started W. Good auto.
Using his passive.
Mm-hmm.
So ideally, you're getting level 2 first in this matchup. Is that what should be happening?
It's not what should be happening, because sets should be hitting the wave more than you are. But if it does happen, then you can go for it. You can play a little bit aggressive level 1, because Set is a champion that, like, if you have bone plating up, you can trade with him. Okay, it looks like he's not using his third. I would use third Q there most likely. Also, like he made the mistake of like queuing with his E up. Like he used Q1 and E together, which is the common mistake that we talked about. You should walk up and Q and then have your E up.
Okay, I think that was good, right? He did the Q into W, right?
Yeah, this was good. Nice. Okay. Yeah, that combo works very well against champs with low mobility. So Set. Okay, he's getting ganked. Oh, that's not good.
So, what do you think he did wrong there? What are the big things there, Luke? What's going on?
Okay, so first of all, I think he played very he played very much for trading rather than focusing on the, like, here you can see, like, after this trade right now, I would just like look how defensive the set is playing. I was just like lasting the wave and just chilling here, you know, like he's losing a lot. Like you can do this trade, sure. But as
and
this
instantly
trade,
back off, right? And then
he's back off.
yeah, he's overcommitting, right?
Yeah, I think like after this auto, just run away.
Look
or
at
even
like
like
walking into the wave.
Yeah, he like, and also he flashes when his auto is down, so your flash doesn't reset auto attack. Also, I think you should always ward before trading. There's always a chance Pantheon just does 3 camps into ganking top, so you should have warded even before doing that trade.
Yeah,
because it's always.
So you would have played it slow. You would have built up sort of the wave a little bit. You would have gone for the ward, and then that's it. You would have just played it a lot more stable. Like it seems like he's introducing a lot of chaos to his gameplay. The threat of getting ganked, getting low HP. Like, he took such good trades at the beginning. And then now he's like, look at this HP. You know, it's crazy. You know, look at it. It's like he was doing so well the first couple of trades.
Yeah, exactly. He was trading really well, but yeah. And the classic not respecting the jungler, even though you're winning top, it feels really bad.
Yeah. And, you know, this guy might be saying like jungle diff, right? But I think a lot of that was in his control. That shouldn't have happened. That would have been very hard for Pantheon to gank if Set was 10% HP and Aatrox had a massive wave and half HP.
Yeah, exactly. And
a ward.
I mean, even if Pantheon does come top and you just live the gank, you're just soaking a lot of pressure.
You would have done a deeper ward here, you think?
Yeah, definitely.
Slightly deeper? You like to do it around here, right?
Yeah. Good junglers will stand outside the ward range and then walk up, and just you don't have much time to react to the gank. So yeah, a bit deeper ward would be better. Also, I would buy more like defensive items. They have double AD topside, so I would buy probably cloth armor.
So would this be a tier 2 Steel Caps rush game?
Yeah, definitely.
Because again, you're against the AD.
Yeah, AD, and also like the movement speed is really nice against champs like Set because you can space them a lot easier.
So this wave set looks like a catastrophe for Aatrox, you know? Actually, no, the wave's coming back into him now. Okay, yeah, it's all good. He just needs to be patient.
Yeah, he just has to be patient. You can still trade as long as you're looking at the minimap right before you trade to make sure the Pantheon's not there. So I think that trade was not good. Like, I think the third Q was too much. Just like getting small wins is so important. And also you see like when we talked about earlier, like he's using W while his Q is down. So many players have this. They're just using Ws for fun. Like his Q is down. Like you should never Q here. Just chill. Your Q will come up faster if you don't third Q. And look at this W here. He's like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna W.
But he has no Q. No Q. I see. So as you said, they're using it for fun. Like, what are we doing? Yeah. What are we going off, right?
Like, why are you Wing? Like, your Q's coming up soon.
So we're seeing some trends here. So he's not accepting the small wins. He's not literally he can't just do 1 Q, 2 Qs, and just wait for it. He has to do the third Q, right?
Yeah.
And we're wasting W with no cooldowns.
Yeah. And this is like a cycle that repeats itself. Like now he's gonna Q again, and then when his Q is used, his W is back up, and he's gonna use his W again, and it's just like gonna repeat itself constantly. Okay, so he's using his health pulse here. Very important to use them if you know you're going to play aggressively before the fight, not during. Good detail. Okay, this is very nice. Again, using the W, right? Too early.
When did he W? So he's got his Q, second Q, and then he Ws now, does he? Yeah, again, just doesn't have it up, right? He could probably, do you reckon he could probably get this kill?
Yeah, I think if
W. Look at the set W cooldown, right? If you hold W.
Yeah, and your Q will come up faster as well, right? So you can get a kill there. I don't like how often he like ease in with his second Q. I think that's a mistake. You should just play very slow and controlled. Again, you should play patiently. Just Q, and then walk away.
So do you think it's a misunderstanding of the Set matchup? Like he's not thinking about Set's E. He's getting E'd into minion waves like a lot.
I think it's just a fundamental. I think it's just a bad habit, honestly. I think that this guy doesn't care enough about small wins.
Yeah.
He doesn't care enough about like, okay, I'm gonna hit 2 Qs, and then the next time I have Q, I can all in him, because when he's like 60% health, then I can just QW, QQ, and he's dead. So he's just over trading. Okay, this is very suspicious. I think Pantheon's top side, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't really get that wave in, right? So this just looks like a catastrophe. Like, we're just in a really bad state right now. Should we be slow building this? Like, what do we do with this wave? Or you have to... What's going on?
So you should slow push this wave and stack 2 waves simultaneously to crash them at the same time.
This Q is really bad, right? This is the Q that ruins the wave. Yeah.
Yeah, you kind of want to
wait for the next wave.
You want to last at the creeps, and then before you crash the next wave, you should ward.
Go ward now.
Yeah, you should ward now. And
he was about to. I think he's trying to rush. He's like, oh shit, I've stuffed up. I got to get the wave in. That's sort of what it looks like there. And then he's just doomed now, right? He's just doomed.
Yeah, you should get punished in a high rank game right now for this. I mean, he already lost so much farm there from that wave. He lives his gank. Yeah. But yeah, the wave is such a bad spot. Actually, he bought Tiamat, the set. He's kind of fucking up.
What should Set have right now?
I think Tiamat's bad because he's just gonna.
He's auto
push
pushing the
waves.
wave. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wants to do that thing that you did against Sion, where he just keeps it neutral and just pushes off Sion. So the Aatrox, right?
Yeah, I mean, he should buy, like, I think Seth should buy boots as well, like Tabis, because the movement speed and also, like, triple 80 topside is in this case.
Oh, yeah. Super high value still caps, yeah?
Yeah, and then most of your damage is your W anyway, like, and that's true damage, so. Like, now Aatrox can just chill, like, the wave will always push towards him automatically. And then he's able to, like, get one good trade and then just all in the set with all the space he's getting. Okay, so here I would stand on the side of the wave and not inside my wave. Standing on the side of the wave.
Left? Does it matter like left or right? Like,
I generally like to do it on the right side on your screen right now.
towards the river. Why is that?
Yeah, because my jungler is, well, in this case my jungler is around that side, so I can kite towards him. Yeah, but the bushes, I mean, the bushes can work.
Yeah, why
too.
do you play with bushes? Yeah, why do you play with bushes? And I thought that was a standard thing for top laners.
Yeah, bushes is good for, like, dropping aggro, and yeah, it's. I mean, honestly, you should probably do that. But I think also there's less space. I think a little bit.
That's why you like it's more intuitive because you have more room.
It's more intuitive for
there.
me. Yeah. But if you give it, like, if I had to give a good reason for it, like, you can also use the bushes, absolutely, 100%.
Is this the E forward on Q2 again? You see this habit that he constantly has.
Let's see it. Yeah, I think it's better to just, like, Q, walk away, and then Q again, and save your E for your third Q, or save your E to, like, so sometimes after you land your Q, you can, like, instantly E away, and then Seth will not be able to hit his E. But yeah, like, again, it all falls on the same category, just playing patiently and slowly and like, controlled, right? This is very good. Very nice.
Okay, that's cool. He used R early, right, for his combo. That was good, right?
Yeah, that's good. Okay, now he flashes into the tower. You can go back to that combo and see how he played it. So here, I would even, like, pop R right now before my first Q.
Sorry, he didn't. Yeah, he didn't do it perfectly there, yeah.
Yeah, you have to remember, like, against champions with no mobility, if you run at them with ult, they cannot dodge your Qs, and because they can't dodge your Qs, they can't dodge your W, etc. So you can easily just open up with ult, run at them, and then you don't have to use your first E with your first Q. Or sorry, your E with your first Q. And it's just a free kill. Yeah.
Okay. Now I think he's a little bit slow to TP to that. Maybe looking at the shop or changing his Spotify playlist for a bit tilted. Could be typing to his team. Maybe he's typing jungle diff, right? That's what you know.
Or he's, like, calling Seth and Noob in all chat.
Yeah, yeah.
Champs OP.
Yeah. We've definitely seen a lot of potential errors here. So is this another problem again? We should be slow building?
No, in this case, you can hard push.
You know, push because it's not a cannon wave. Is that why?
Yeah, and Seth is the base. And you know where the jungler is, so you're not really in a threat. So here you could just hard push. Now he's forced to TP because of the hard push. That's very nice. Otherwise, he wouldn't have to TP. Okay. At this point of the matchup, it's going to be a bit harder because now Seth has Tabis, as he should have done earlier. And Aatrox doesn't.
And we have zero defense, basically, at Ruby Crystal. We're level down. Like this, I don't know what you do here. What do you even do here, Looca?
So here you press tab and see if your team is winning or losing. If they're winning, you play safe. If they're losing, you're just going to limit test. You're just going to play aggressively. Because ultimately, like, if you keep playing safely and your team is also losing, then there's no point. Like, you're going to lose slowly. So
it looks quite even. I mean, his team's actually, he's been mid and bot looking great, right? So his mindset here should be to be a minimize. As long as he doesn't, like, completely keep ruining the game, keep getting experience and gold, he should be okay and scale with his team.
Yeah, well, you can see even now that he's winning trades as long as he's using the fact that he has more range than Seth. So even if you're losing the matchup, you can still play a little bit aggressively, but you have, like, he's playing much more controlled now than he was before. And also, like, because Seth is just perma pushing waves, you can also just choose to sit on a turret and let your team carry you. You don't have to die. You know.
So by heavy trading, I guess heavy trading gives them options, right? Like that. Like you probably you're weak sided. You should just stay full HP and just farm on a tower. Is that something? Is that a consideration you would have?
Yeah, I mean it depends on the
sort of
map
limit
state.
test?
It depends on the map state. Yeah. Like right now, I would, if I see all my teams have shutdowns, like my entire team is shutdowns, I might consider trading, but only in a way where I'm not taking damage. And then he has 2 wards up, but he's not using either of them. I think if you're like getting perma pushed in, the best place to ward is the bush, like the river bush. Sorry, not the lane bush.
This one here.
The lane bush.
Oh, this one here.
Yeah, because very often people will reset there, and if you know they're resetting, you can like cheat away, like you can like hard shove a wave you're not supposed to, and then get a free reset off. And if you have 2 wards, I always say like having 2 wards is such a waste because you're not regenerating your 3rd ward, so you're losing out on a ward potentially in the long term. This was a very good trade. Like this is very good. You can see how easy this matchup is. Like he's hard. He's 0-4, but he's winning every trade. You know.
This would be over if he was just literally, you know, a little bit ahead.
Yeah.
Even or a little bit ahead.
Yeah. If he just had the mindset of like, okay, well, I mean, look at the enemy comp as well. They have like pretty low mobility and like pretty low DPS champions. So if you're like going into this game with the mindset of like, I'm going even in this lane and I'm going to punish this guy for making mistakes, small wins, you will be like 10 steps per minute, winning side lane, and then you're just gonna 1v9. Yeah. Okay, I like to see respecting here. I like that a lot. Please don't. Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. Okay. Okay, you bought Shojin this game.
What would you buy?
I think Sunder Sky is just better. I think fights are, you won't get like 2 or 3 rotations, or like, well, you get 2 but not like 3 or 4 in fights, and also like the added damage plus healing from the Sunder Sky is just better against most bruisers in side lane. So yeah, I like that more.
I think this move's good, right? Insta starts with R.
Yeah, he opens up with his ult. People don't realize that Aatrox's ult is something you can be very flexible with. Like you don't have to hold it very long. You can just use it. What's happening? Solo queue shenanigans.
Well, we've broken our first tower, which is surprising given the state of the way the lane phase went.
Yeah. I mean, he's even in terms of items with Set. I don't know how.
Okay, so we're getting to the mid-game deploys now here. So, yeah. What should we be doing? What should we be thinking about here?
Okay, well, when you come on the base, you're gonna press tab and see where the next objective is gonna be. So I don't have any info on that.
Objective timers.
It's really important.
It looks like we got Drake up at 335.
Yeah. So what you do is you ask yourself, like, does my team need me to be at the fight? In this case, I would say yes, you should fight because you're playing Aatrox and you're not that weak. So, well, your Yasuo has Ignite and you have TP, right? So then it's fine to be on the opposite side of the objective because you can TP there if it starts. So yeah, this is good. I don't like the fact that he's pushing another wave though. I would just be more
push
like
this
in between.
And then start moving mid. Start walking into the river.
Yeah, into the river. Okay. Actually, can you go back to like the previous wave that he pushed, like the one before this one? When he didn't move the river instantly. Okay, so before he pushed that wave, actually. So here, like your team So before you push a wave, you have to ask yourself, does my team need me on the mid wave? Well, his team is not really looking to do anything on mid wave, are they? Like, there's not much happening. Like, jungler's moving bot. So then you can just slow push the wave.
I see. So he
And
should just be last hit in this wave because there's nothing to do with this wave because they've got a wave shove in. I see.
yeah,
You
it
don't
takes a
have to
little
hard
bit of
shove.
yeah. You have to like think ahead a lot. But hard shoving this wave allows you to be on the mid wave, but slow pushing allows you to be safer when you catch the next wave, and it also has a bigger timer. So here, if he slow pushes, the next wave he has to catch here will be much closer to his side, and it's easier to catch.
Yeah, because he has nothing to do right now.
Yeah, even if he goes mid there, there's nothing to do. So he should just slow push. Even here, like here, okay, like does my team need me on mid?
Stop,
yes or no?
Yeah, stop hitting it.
Yeah. If not, just slow push. It's okay.
And will that come into consideration whether your team needs to be on there with you mid wave? Is about the objective. There's no objective up, so there's no real rush.
Yeah.
I mean, they do have a lot of kill threat. I mean, they're Pantheon ult, to be fair, right? So maybe they could be engaged with the Pantheon ult. So I could maybe see this as a game. Maybe you prioritize mid wave a bit more, or
No, I wouldn't say so, because if your team is making a play on bot side, like your Viego is and Yasuo are fighting bot lane, so your team should respect the fact that your jungler is bot, so they should play safe on mid. If that makes sense.
I see. Okay, well, I mean, they should, Looca, but
Yeah.
Should and what actually how psyche works are two different things.
True, but you can ping them off. You can ping Pantheon's champion silhouette and then ping on mid lane, be careful, and that'll give them a sense of urgency as well. So now Drake is close to spawning. I would highly prioritize being near the objective before it spawns so they get inside position. And I would
this is where you would run bot. Would you recall? And you only have 900 gold. Would you recall and go back bot, or would you just push that wave and instantly walk down?
So right now, if you look at the map states, I would recall, because, well, if you go back to after we push the wave, like right now it's 28 seconds. You can easily recall, open up mid.
Yeah.
Spend your gold, get oracles, get inside position, and kind of command your team around as well. Like, tell them, guys, stop fucking around on mid. Like, this is useless. Just go Drake, please. Because what they're doing here is not gonna do anything for the game.
And this is useless. Like, Aatrox is, again, not a split pusher. Like, I feel like this is just going to achieve nothing.
Yeah, and your tower's gone anyway, top. So even if you, like, base and go to Drake and they keep pushing top, they have to go all the way to your T2 to pressure something, and then you can just TP back there. So he would have been here already. He would even been in the fight, potentially. That happened just now. Because maybe he can TP, but yeah, massive mistake there. Okay.
Fly Q3 flash.
Yeah, I missed it. Oh, good sidestep, actually. See, this guy's pretty good mechanically. Like, his movement's very good. He just casually sidestepped Talia W. It's pretty hard to do. Okay, so he ends up dying.
So, what's going on here? Is this where we just should be walking up this far when our team's like in base or we're losing mid priority?
Well, you should be on mid wave because the bot wave is already pushed out. So there's no reason to be on bot. And if you can be on that mid wave, you can help your team get priority. And with that priority, you can get control.
So it seems like he's sort of just, again, autopiloting. Like, viewing the champs as a bit of a split pusher. There's no control aspect to it. Like, this is, again, a complete contrast, showing your gameplay versus this Aatrox. Like, this is where Aatrox becomes really hard to play, it looks like, in the mid-game. Like, he's not going to have zero impact, right? And he can't do anything. He's a split pusher. So this is making a lot of sense.
You don't do much in side lane unless you, like, randomly 2v1, but that's an unreliable win condition. Okay, noted. Yeah. I mean, again, if he was playing more safe in lane, he would be like 1-0 with more CS, and he would maybe even win that 2v1, So yeah, it's such a way, because this is such a beautiful Aatrox game. It's such a waste to see the aggressive mindset, So here you should be bot. This is all good.
You hate seeing a wasted Aatrox game, Looca.
It's so rare. It's so rare to see a good Aatrox game. Because you need both a good matchup and a good team comp to play against. Okay, so he pushes out bot and then bases and goes top. Now, honestly, like, since Talia is dead, I don't actually hate this play. It's a pretty, like, unorthodox play. But as long as you like recall in time to defend the bot tier 2, like in mid game, tier 1s are not worth that much besides mid tier 1. So you can just drop tier 1s to trade for objectives usually. That's completely fine often.
I like to say that tier 1 towers, especially side lane, they fall like paper at this stage of the game. They're not worth defending. They're going to die anyway.
Yeah, so yeah, trading one objective for them is very, very worth. But the mid tier 1, of course, is very important to defend. Okay, so here he is kind of pushing the wave. I mean, he's not really respecting the Pantheon ult ever, I feel. But maybe he doesn't have to. I think he can escape most ganks with his build. High HP. Okay, so here let's look at his position in this fight. He's grouping with his team. So here I would be in the tri-bush.
This is where the flanking comes into play. So you'll control ward, sweep, and then be threatening. This is where the control wards and the sweeper comes into play.
Yeah, because you see that bush is warded now. Like, the enemies can go onto you very easily.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what you're looking for is, like, you're sitting in the bush, and then if the enemies engage onto your team, you're gonna, like, be behind them after the engage happens. And you're gonna stop the enemy carries from following up on the engage. Because if they follow up, they're going to run into you. Yeah. Okay, so he's just catching waves.
Does he have enough for a control ward? Oh, no. Looca.
He does,
Look at this. Look at this. So sad.
160.
I like how he's really walking mid.
Yeah, that's good. This is good. Perfect. This is like really high level. Maybe he doesn't even realize it, but going through mid and side lane is like really good. But doing this, killing this controller is very bad because now it slows down your next
pushing waves. Yeah, your next move.
Yeah, because now his next move is delayed. You can see that he's catching this wave.
He could be moving now. He could be moving now.
He's already there. Yeah. See, and now if he wants to be on this mid wave, he's too late now. So he has to push another bot wave.
So I guess a lot of the time you see maybe with top lane, especially Emerald plus. Top lane is just too slow to do things, like to push the waves or whatever. Is that what you find a lot in your reviews, your coaching sessions? They're just too slow. They have the right idea. They might do it, but it's just too slow.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not on top of that, like, and that's a skill you have to develop. It's mentally always saying what's the next objective after every single sequence. After every fight, after every tower, like after every wave, you keep asking yourself, you constantly remind yourself, like, what do I do next? And that's gonna like keep you in the flow of the game very, very nicely, and it also keep you on top of things. Just keep asking yourself, what's next? What's next? So here TPs. This is actually a very good TP example. So the enemies are not committed, right? They haven't committed to a fight right now. So what's stopping them from just right-clicking away? Well, not much, is there? Like, I would always like to TP. First of all, push the wave first before TPing. Because then you're still creating like a timer for yourself, and then look for TP if the enemies are like committed or if like an insane flank. I think in this case he had somewhat of a decent flank, but again, the enemies, if they wanted to, they could just run away after TP.
Yeah,
but they decided
he got pure lucky here. They got so lucky here. So he gets the kill here. There's nothing to do here. Like they're just going to run away. There's no commitment. You're saying here, so just keep pushing the wave. There's nothing to do here. Sort of right here with the flanking, but look at this. Like, what is he doing? Sorry, what would you do here, Looca?
Yeah, sorry for interrupting you, by the way. No, what I would do is I would just push the wave and keep my camera on the fight as I'm pushing. And then after we get this pick, I would just TP top, push that wave, and then I would just ping my team to go Nash. And if my team is not going Nash, I'm gonna like pop in chat, go Nash or like AFK or something, like just urge them to do it because I'm very confident in that call. And if I push top, I can get a flank as well when my team is doing Nash, right?
I see. So, like, you can push the top here and you can flank there in case I want to contest it.
Yes. But you can see, like, a lot of times people, like, tend to overchase. Now they're not doing Nash. They're, like, hitting the mid and hip. They probably think they can end. Can they, actually?
Yeah, the game ends.
Oh, I guess they can. Coach, by the way.
Okay.
I guess they can.
So, interesting game. Interesting game. Definitely some, some slow mid-game things. I think that. So, what would you give advice to this player here? What does he need to focus on? Is it the lane phase here?
I think two things. Like, one, mindset, and then two, trading patterns. I think those are the most most important things for this person. But of course, stuff like builds and rune setup and like side laning and stuff also important. But yeah, main takeaway was for sure like laning phase. Just a combination, like if you go into the mindset with, if you go into the game with like a different mindset of like taking small wins, playing patiently, doing short trades, always prioritizing your own life and high CS rather than playing like high risk, you will go into the mid game being even or ahead 99% of your games. And in a game like this, if you're even, you're going to be able to carry like almost every single time because your champ is so strong into theirs.
Okay, well that wraps up our Emerald review. A couple of questions to finish this off here, Looca. When you were learning Aatrox, did you struggle? Was it easy for you? Did you pick it up? Like, was there an aha moment where you're like, that's how it works with Aatrox? Or was it more so tied, you didn't really sort of main Aatrox, you sort of learned Aatrox when you got high-elo already?
Yeah, I picked up Aatrox when I was not at high-elo yet. So I
What
don't
rank we
remember.
talking?
I think I was like Diamond or Master in like Season 10 when I started playing him, which is a bit worse than it would be. I think it comparatively like maybe Diamond 4 now. But yeah, I mean, I was kind of new to playing bruisers as well. I played mostly like Gragas and Sion. So yeah, I picked up Aatrox before I even knew like most of like the aggressive champions. I can't remember much, but I do remember like figuring out how to trade by just watching videos and kind of going through the motions myself, just like playing him, rewatching all my vaults, like why did this trade go bad, why did this one work, and eventually just kind of finding my groove in that, and just realizing that Aatrox just is one of the champs where you're looking for constant short trades until someone's low, and then you're looking for all-ins and not being too afraid to use your R in those all-ins. But yeah, like I think most people go wrong in trades is not only the mechanics of the trade, but also the length of the trade. Like people tend to over trade a lot, like they overextend too
We
much.
saw this here. We saw the overtrading into set
Yeah.
this VOD, right? In the early game.
Yeah, and then like as for mechanics, I think the main thing is like a lot of people they tend to E in to their Qs rather than like saving up their E for when the perfect timing comes. So don't open, like most of the time you don't want to open your trades with EQ. You want to like save your E for either dodging an ability or like pairing your third Q or something. But yeah.
All right, last question for you here, Luke. I want you to be a bit of a salesman of Aatrox here. It sounds like you like to pick Aatrox in certain games, and you probably don't recommend one trick in him. Why should people pick up Aatrox or look to add this champ to your pool?
Okay, so if you like champions that are like a high skill expression and that can win, that can like go even in even like bad matchups if you're good enough, and you like playing champs that just completely one shot people in team fights if you're strong enough, right? I mean, then the champ is for sure for you. But you have to realize that your champion is just very reliant on what the enemy comp does, kind of. But I think with the new Aatrox buffs, he's definitely going to be much stronger, and there will be like his bad matchups are going to be less bad, and his good matchups are going to be even better. So I think now is actually the best time to pick him up, and yeah, I think it's yeah, he'll be quite strong, I think, on the new patch, and I'm gonna play him more myself as well. I'm pretty excited for that.
All right, Looca. Well, that's it for our episode today. You coach in the Top Lane Academy a few times a week.
Mm-hmm.
Any final shout outs, mentions here before we sign off?
A good shout out AJ and Ray. Those are like the main Aatrox guys in the TLA. I'd really like to see their progression with the champ. I taught them a lot of stuff about like not wasting Ws and like not Eing into their second Q and stuff, and they also inspired me a little bit to improve on that as well. So I guess I'll shout out those guys if they're watching. And yeah, I mean that's it really.
Awesome. Great stuff. Thanks again, Looca. See you guys on our next episode.
See ya.